Judgment time.
Welcome to Everything Comes Back to 2000AD, and today I'm joined by Mr. Squeaky Chair, Stephen Ross.
Mr. Rossi, what you want? Oh, the tree of ice cream cones, a cocoa castle for a home, custard cakes, coffee breaks, holiday world to say.
Yes, hello. I'm going to be squeaking all over the place about San Diego Comic-Con. I went down for a day and that was about enough.
And Mr. John Burtis.
Hello to all you rockers out there from a very, very warm Maidstone in the Garden of England, where I am having the greatest of lives, which means something horrible will be knocking at the door very soon. Oh my God, it's Death himself.
Hopefully not in 2 weeks.
And talking about deaths, it's time for deaths. All right, who we got, eh? Well, the first one, waited until we'd stopped recording and then decided to fucking die. Fucking typical, eh? Yes, folks, it's Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, that's old news.
Yes, it was an hour after we finished, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In 76, he was an English singer who lived out in Yankland for quite a while. Let's get me bloody information up, bloody hell. So I can get all this up. So his real name was John Michael Osborne. His other names, I think they should have been under the monarch of other nicknames. Mm-hmm. Other names: Prince of Darkness and Godfather of Heavy Metal. So from Birmingham, there's loads of stuff up at Birmingham if you're a big fan, like all murals and shit for him. And there's a massive bench over one of the canals, which is fantastic. But yeah, he started out in Black Sabbath. He eventually got thrown out the band. And then he did his own stuff, married his good lady, Sharon. Well, he married Thelma Riley first, but then he married Sharon Arden, who became his promoter. I mean, fuck knows how she put up with him. The things he got up to, you know what I mean? It was unbelievable. But she stuck with them. I know some people don't like her and all this, that and the other, but, you know what I mean? I don't think he'd have the career he had if it wasn't for her pushing him and making sure he did stuff.
She was his Colonel Parker.
Yes, yeah. But what makes me laugh is when I see so-called nice people put horrendous posts up, and then slag her off in the same thing. Now, there's I watched a video of him talking about, obviously he knew he was close to death, and he was talking about his life, saying how fantastic it was. Now, he said basically Sharon was his saviour in those sort of like roundabout words. Mm-hmm. So I think I'd rather listen to the man himself talking about his wife in all the fucking the bad and the good. I'd listen to him more than I listen to some so-called good, nice person who just constantly, because I see the post all the time, slags off tons of people, yet this person is supposed to be nice. I'm not going to mention the name. I'll tell you later, lads. And I just think, get a fucking grip of yourself, because he said he loved it and all this, that and the other. And yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, I think a lot of people found him out through the Osbournes TV show when he was out in California with you lot, and enjoyed his antics. But I
You
did.
mean the Osbournes reality show?
Yeah, that's what I just said without saying those words.
Yeah.
The TV show. And I did see that for this last concert he did a couple of weeks ago, he went off all the painkillers, all the medication, because it was interfering with his voice and his stuff. So he had to be strapped down in the chair for the whole thing to stop with his judders and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fucking. He's one of those people that will not get again because of the way society is now. You know, he won't get like a rock star who lives that fucking insane life. I'm sure I read somewhere that he snorted a line of ants, and he also did the infamous peeing on the Alamo, didn't he? And he wore his wife's wedding dress and all sorts of things. But yeah, and I know he tried to kill her one night, and she had to lock herself in a room. It was like insane, the whole fucking lifestyle. But that's what he was, a rock star, true rock star.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, everyone remembers his main hits from the Sabbath years, and then a couple of his big hits once he became solo. But yeah, a bit of a surprise, but not a surprise, because we knew he was really ill, but we just didn't realise that so soon after the concert. In fact, I'm reading it was 17 days, then that was it.
Well, those guys that do a lot of drugs and have that kind of lifestyle, if they live past 70, that seems like nature taking its proper course. Well, actually, it's surprising they get that far, but then once they hit 70, it's kind of like, time to start looking over your shoulder a little bit. So Billy Idol's 69, so...
It was Parkinson's disease with Ozzy, so that can hit anyone. That's not a case of because he did this or that. Who knows how Parkinson's? If he got something that was associated. Who has it?
I think Jack has it as well.
Oh, boy.
But when you look at something like Lemmy even said, "How the fuck have I survived with all the shit that I've done?" Mm-hmm. And he did more than fucking Ozzy ever did. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it all depends on what your body's like. You know what I mean? Like I said,
look at the draw.
Yeah, it's purely the look. When you see, it always comes to light when a major sportsman announces something and they're like 28 or 32, whatever, and you just go, fucking hell, and they deteriorate very fast, and you just think it purely is absolute luck with what your body's going to do, because I'm sure that fucking sportsman probably took all the advice that the doctor and the people who fucking control the vitamins that go in the body and all that. I'm not talking about doped up shit. I'm talking about people who say you've got to eat fucking this amount of this and this amount of that to keep your body at the optimum things. The footballer, what's his name? The Portuguese footballer. Flint, the one who's near retirement age now.
Ronaldo,
yeah. He doesn't drink soft drinks. He drinks all the stuff that nutritionist has told him to have. And look how long he's kept his career going. He doesn't fucking party late at night or anything like that. He can do all that once he's retired, which he's obviously near to, but he's fucking had an amazing career, and it's been elongated through listening to what experts have said. So yeah.
Well, the thing with Ozzy was he should have died 20 years ago, because he was in a really bad ATV accident that they thought that done him in.
Oh yeah.
So then he did all the operations, and he said he wished he never had those operations done.
That's right. Yeah.
Operations for what?
For the ATV crash he was in.
Oh, okay.
All right. Here we go. Next one. This will be a favourite-ish of Mr. Ross. We've got Hulk Hogan, age 71, an American wrestler. Well, I was looking at all the bits and bobs that were about what he was in, like WWE, and then fucking whatever the other fucking names were. There's so many different names of these organisations. And he popped his foot into some movies and stuff, which were not the best of. In fact, he was in Rocky. Was he in Rocky 3? I can't remember which one it was now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, 3. Yeah, 3 was when he fought Mr. T.
Yeah, he was in
fought
Rocky
Hulk.
3 because he was champion.
Yeah, that's it. I knew he was in one of the Rocky things, but yeah, he was in all sorts. WCW, fucking world heavyweight champion from '94 to '96. He has one of those iconic looks. You know what I mean? It's just like you could do that. You could show those colours, and most people would go, well, "That's the colours of fucking Hulk Hogan." And I kept seeing over the last couple of years this lovely little clip of him doing one of those signing things, I think it was, and a little kid came up to him and did all the spiel to him and ripped his own. The little kid ripped his shirt.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan sort of like ripped his shirt back to him. It was fucking lovely, you know what I mean? It was one of those. It's one of those things where I always think, no matter what these stars do, same with Ozzy and Lemmy early, because I've seen some lovely ones of Lemmy talking to children who've been bullied. Absolutely wonderful. Now, yes, we all love them for their actual main thing that they did, whether it be sport, music, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do these lovely interactions with the fans, proper interactions,
Mm-hmm.
they're the things that fan will always remember to the day they die. And that's the wonderful things, which cost nothing. It's just like a bit of time, isn't it? It's like when we see fucking Captain Jack Sparrow popping into hospital and seeing all the children who were fucking seriously ill.
Yeah.
It's wonderful because obviously he's had the makeup on. I think what's his name did it. Ron Perlman got his kit on for Hellboy and did the same thing at the hospital before.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's
scare the kids.
Well, you know what I mean? It was like they've gone out of the way just to do these things, and the press are never there. It only ever pops out when a family have showed something afterwards and said, "Look who turned up the hospital today to see our child."
The person,
Mommy, you said I was going to heaven. Why is Satan here?
Yeah, but
the person
but
that did that a
them
lot.
things-
The person that did that a lot was the guy who played Ernest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice to hear.
yeah. But these are the things that I love the most about these sort of world famous characters because they don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well, it's nice to hear you. It's nice to hear you say that, John, because I've been seeing all these memes lately of like, oh, Ozzy Osbourne's in heaven, and it's like, haha, Ozzy in heaven. And then there's the gag, and then, but Hulk Hogan's in hell, or Hulk Hogan can go to hell, or fuck you, Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, the Hulk Hogan thing mostly comes from a recorded rant where he says the N-word about his daughter dating a black guy.
right.
And I think he apologized for it and tried to, make good on it, blah, 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 blah. If we're going to compare the two, I think on or off of drugs, Ozzy is of a certain age that he probably said something very similar and used words very similar, or the British English equivalent of maybe some racist terminology sometime in his lifetime, whether he was in his right mind or not. And he just wasn't recorded saying it or doing it. And even if it wasn't racism, the shit that he did and the destruction that he left in his wake was, I mean, people love him, but like if you're the guy who has to clean up after that shit, it's not cool. Yeah. So, I mean, and not to speak ill of Ozzy because, people are...
You will.
No, people are people are complicated. I'm at the age where I truly try not to.
You're the grand
judge.
wizard, Rozzy.
I just don't.
I know exactly what you're saying because we had when we were young, we had shops, corner shops run by people from Pakistan, and every single person I know said, "I'm just off to the something shop." Which I won't say now, obviously, but that's what. And now the thing is, at the time, no, I never knew it was derogatory. To me, it was saying they work hard. To me, all I thought was they get up at fucking like 5 o'clock in the morning to get the papers in the milk, and they're still fucking their shop is open at 11 o'clock at night. Fucking hell! Nobody I knew apart from these people worked those hours, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that term to say I'm going to go to that shop because it's the best shop in the area. That was not exactly the correct way, but that's what I'm off to the such and such shop.
Right.
Or, as I said before, if I said off to the Chinese takeaway, I would have used a certain term, off to the something. Now, you can't say that word now But I said it then, and everyone else I knew said it. So when people say we never said it, you're all liars, because everyone said it if you're of a generation. But I never said it in a direct. I used, it was a short version of the word to then just go, I'm off there. Now, if I didn't like those people, which is what people say you use it for, why would I go and get the food from their place or buy the stuff from their place? I would go somewhere else, wouldn't I? You know what I mean? That's where these sort of like things fall down when people say, "Oh, you're this." No, because I would have went to such and such shop down the road, blah blah blah.
Well,
no.
they had an interview with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was asked about the Hulk Hogan N-word controversy, and Mike Tyson says, I've used a lot of words against white people, and that are just as bad. And he said that sometimes you make mistakes and your mind goes that direction because you're not in a good spot or you're not in a good place, but you can't hold people to those standards. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody says stupid shit.
Yeah.
Well, also if you're of a generation, you've seen, like if you saw Blazing Saddles when you're a kid and you've seen adults around, you're a kid and you don't, or a young person and you don't even know why it's funny or what the whole thing of that means, or you're seeing and hearing adults say it, so you assume it's fine. Or even on TV, like with our All in the Family or all those Norman Lear shows, where it's like adult. Supposedly the New York sophisticates that made the show are like, oh well, we're making fun of people who say that and think that and all that other sort of thing. But then you see other people who are like, may have never even heard that before, but they're hearing it for the first time on the show and then using it because they hear people reacting to it. And so it's like, it's so complicated. To me, it's so complicated. And especially if you're an older person or of that generation, I would be shocked if Joe Biden in his advanced years at some point didn't use words like that. Just because that's, or used words that were like just fine now that are, or just fine then that are like not okay now, like retarded was the polite term for somebody with Down syndrome up until 20 years ago, and now it's like, they're so tired of political correctness that they're using it again just to piss off
but it's not meant in the same way. The word, the meaning of the word has changed. You don't mean somebody with Down syndrome. You mean somebody that's just stupid.
Yeah, someone who's like in the literal sense of the word, where diminished capacity or whatever, however you want to put it. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, that whole thing with Hulk Hogan is, to me, that whole thing that you would be the person to judge him on, especially online behind your computer and all that. I think it's just the cruelty and the venom that they're using against the guy who's just a WWE wrestler playing a character. He's a character playing it. Even when he was not Hulk Hogan, he was a character playing a character, and then if he was in a movie, he was that character playing another character. So I don't know, and I was a fan of that era of WWE. When it was WWF and it was like the mid to late 80s version of all that stuff, I wasn't really a fan. I didn't really become a WWE fan until like the Attitude Era, where it was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Wow.
And
So you were a fan of the crappy age. You weren't a fan of the golden age.
Well, that might have been it's the golden age, like old-timey comics, or the golden age of comics, but unless you go into them reading like with the understanding like, well, this is where everything came from, it's like, I respect it for
the
that.
80s WrestleMania was the best. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a wet fart compared to WrestleMania with Ric Flair.
How would you know? I can guarantee you didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, I watched
it.
Yeah,
you watched that one. You didn't watch the more sophisticated.
It's like watching. Oh my God, Rossi! It's like watching the prequels.
Well, the prequels are pretty good too.
No, the prequels are shit.
Attitude Era WWE was full of complexity with not clearly heroes and villains were not clearly defined.
That's what
Just like
makes it.
the
That's what makes it
multi-dimensional
shit.
aspect of
That's what makes it shit.
no,
You gotta have
no,
your good guys and you gotta have your bad guys. That's it.
no. When Stone Cold Steve
No,
Austin
because
flipped off the audience, there was so much behind that.
When you mix it up like that, and you don't know who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, or anything like that, you completely lose your audience.
When China showed up in her leather hot pants and fired rockets into the dome of whatever arena they were at, that was showbiz, baby.
I prefer latte films.
Ew! What's wrong with you, John? Oh,
What's it about?
I'm gonna be talking shit about you on Facebook when you die for that one. Holy shit! Oh, who else? But other people have died too this week, right?
I've got one more. I'll let you do your one because
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who the hell that was.
Mm.
And the final one I have is just come out of the blue. I thought a name from the past. Flint might even just know the name because obviously he was over here when she was well known. Cleo Lane, age 91. She was an English jazz singer.
I thought she was already dead.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's the most repeated phrase on ECBT besides "I like it for the art"? I thought they were already dead when we do the deaths.
Right.
That,
But the thing is,
if only 2000AD had an editor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happens is they sort of disappear and they just sort of like from public life, and then it's just like exactly like Flynn said. You think they're gone, and then also like 20 years later, after the last time they made some news, you're like, oh, there we are. But I mean, she lived to a ripe old age, 97.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good old age.
Snake Plissken, I thought you were already dead.
And she got loads of awards, like for Best Vocal Performance. She got Lifetime Achievement Award from the US Recording Industry, Grammy Award for Best Jazz Vocal Performance in '86. Obviously, she got the Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire and tons of other shit. So, yeah. And then it has a massive discography of all the stuff she did, which obviously we won't know because it's all jazz stuff.
Yeah. Who listens to that?
Great.
I'm not.
Yeah. So go on then, Mr. Ross. You had one that you sent, but I was like, "Who the fuck's that?"
Yes, and here's a squeak for you. Speaking of who listens to that, music and whatnot, Tom Lehrer passed away, and I won't dwell too much on it because, like John, I doubt our listener really knows or cares who he was. But he was, as I've mentioned before, Dr. Demento was a radio DJ that played novelty songs, and the show usually came on around the same time as The Simpsons on Sunday on our radio. And he had Dr. Demento basically discovered Weird Al, but one of the staples of the show was a guy named Tom Lehrer. He did songs like Poisoning the Pigeons in the Park. He did a song, I didn't even when I read the Wiki, I'm doing this off the top of my head, but when I read the Wikipedia page, there was a song called the Element Song where he basically lists off all the elements, and it's to the tune of a song from Pirates of Penzance. And I didn't realize that until I read it in the Wikipedia page. Now I can't unhear it. He did the Vatican Rag, which is a really funny satirical song. National Brotherhood Day, which this song, it has to be back from the 60s, and it's dealing with racism and hypocrisy, the people who have a day for celebrating diversity and brotherhood, and then the rest of the time they treat each other like shit. So he had a very distinctive voice, and I think the first time I actually saw him was when I was heard his voice was when I was a child, because there was a show that was a companion to Sesame Street called The Electric Company. It was aimed at slightly older kids who were just beginning to read, because Sesame Street was alphabet, numbers, letters, shapes, colors. Electric Company was mostly for reading. Morgan Freeman was one of the cast members. He played a street hustler named Easy Reader. I was getting to that one. Famously, they had Spider-Man on the show, and he didn't. Well, when he spoke, it was in comic book dialogue balloon, so people would talk, speak normally, and then this dialogue balloon would appear above his head, and that was your motivation to learn how to read, so you could understand what Spider-Man was saying. And they had a jungle girl, Flint, named Jennifer of the Jungle.
Yeah,
she had this she wasn't particularly sexy, but she had this like lip skin dress. It wasn't even a swimsuit or a bikini or whatever. It was just a dress. So I fucking love that show, man. That was and Bill Cosby was on the show too. So, but a lot of celebrities contributed to it, like Rita Moreno and Mel Brooks did some songs and bits for it. And so Tom Lehrer does a song about Silent E. That was one of the highlights of the show. And one of my coworkers, so he retired from performing and singing, and then he became a math teacher at a college here in California.
You got maths.
Maths, yes.
It's math, Rosie. Don't listen to John.
I'm going to the chemist.
John lives in the fallen empire, while the American empire.
You don't say mathematic. We'll do some mathematic now. Mathematics.
No,
I'm going to the chemist. I'm going to the chemist, and then I'm going to the news agents, and then when they give me change, I shall have to use maths to figure out make sure if it's correct.
Flint has well and truly changed, and he's been absorbed into the American misspelling.
I've embraced the new world. You're the old world.
You and your free speech, you bastards.
Yeah, we're just watching this.
We used to have free speech. I'll have you that. Hang on, what's at the door? It's the free speech police. They're dragging me away.
We're just watching the sunset on the empire as we expand our horizons.
Talking about the death of free speech. Did you see that clip today with Keir Starmer?
Oh, do you know what? Queer Starmer, you mean, with his 3 rent boys? Yes, we did. Honestly, I'm glad I'm fucking over the hill and I'm fucking dying. You know what I mean? 'Cause unless we have a revolution here, this country is going to be absolute shit.
He said that we had free speech for a long time. We had, as in past tense.
Yeah. He said that before. It's the wordology. It's what he says, not the way he fucking is sort of like there. And do you see the way he looked at his wrist and his hand? It was like he'd fucking been caught out doing something. And yes, we had free speech for a long time. Trump should have went, what do you mean you had? Haven't you got it now? We have more people arrested in this country or for posts on the internet than, I think it's 10 times more than Russia, who've gone to prison compared to the evil empire of Russia. We have people in prison for writing things. Yeah, we've got people raping people, punching people, you name it, violence, physical violence, who don't go to prison.
And that's just at the music festivals you go to, John.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. But we'll let Mr. Ross finish his tirade about his friend, his person who's died.
Oh, well, so he retired from making music, and he was a maths teacher, or math as he probably called it. And or actually probably more like arithmetic. So he and one of my coworkers.
No, if that was English, it'd be arithmetics.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and well, Flint, you know what else they do? They say hospital instead of the hospital.
Yeah.
You know,
if I'm going to go to the hospital, I'll say I'm off to the hospital. I don't say I'm off to hospital.
I've heard it said that way.
Oh, from your fucking weird films you watch.
From your fellow countrymen in the BB shows that I watch.
Not in the area that I've been brought up, do we say that? That's fucking probably Yorkshire.
Mm.
They'll always go somewhere. This, that.
So, anyway, short story long. My coworker
I'd love to get Rossi and Pete Stewart in the room for a conversation. To see if they can...
Oh my God! Pete would have to have like a subtitle thing below him, running all the time.
Well, it You should record it, and then like the recording will be like 7 hours long, and you could cut it down to like 2 because of all the times Pete doesn't have to repeat everything. Just take out the other 3 times Pete would have to repeat everything.
Instead of speeding them up by 2 like you do with everything else, you have to slow them down by about 10.
But I'm not, not to suck up to our Scottish listener. It's a lovely accent, especially when the women.
Oh, hang on. There is no Scottish accent.
It's a lovely sounding way of speaking
of Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Perth. They've all got.
Oh God damn it! So it's like English, where it's not just like what the Hollywood version of it, where
it's not the Queen's English or the King's English. So when you see that the films are all the upper class, you would class that as that.
Well, obviously it's not the King's or Queen's English because I've seen Braveheart. So
yes, but with Scotland, their accents, you can hear obviously the overreaching arc of Scottish, but somebody from Glasgow sounds completely different to somebody from Edinburgh. To me, Edinburgh's got a beautiful. I mean, obviously, if you're very harsh on your accent, it's going to sound bad, like the Scouse. I don't think there's a lilt on any Scouse person. So when Scouse people talk, you feel physically sick, right? But when you look at Glasgow, I know Phil's pissed himself now. When you look at Glasgow, if that person talks with a heavy fucking accent, it's very difficult, right? But we've got a friend down here, Karen's friend from work years ago, who's nobody knows how old she is, but she must be like near 90. She never lost her Edinburgh accent, but it's a lilt. It's a beautiful little, oh, hello, that sort of thing, you know what I mean? That's probably not even Edinburgh, but that's me doing it, because you know how shit I am with accents. It's not like, oh, hello there. Yeah, fuck me, I can't even do anything now, can I? It's not like, okay, the new Jimmy. It's not like that. It's like, okay, the new Jimmy.
Did you just have a hernia doing that one? Or
that's right. But you see what the difference is? It's exactly the same words, it's exactly the same Scottishness, but because of their regional dialects and accents, one sounds very harsh, one sounds very nice and rolling. You know what I mean? Now, with our listener, he would probably be able to go to very harsh for a laugh, but he's probably in the midway, I would say, because I've talked to him. So it's probably midway. Now, for somebody like you, Rossi, you would probably have to be looking at the lips a lot to make sure you're seeing the right use of the mouth for the words to help you a little bit. But I do believe, unless it's mega harsh, most people can follow what most people say. You know what I mean? As long as it's said in the same language. Obviously, you're not going to be able to understand something in French.
Yeah, I would be like, look at me.
Yeah. Right.
And talk slower.
That's right.
So
with the English, the joke on the English is when we go abroad was we talk slower and louder. So when we try and ask for something, we'll say, I want 2 sausages.
Get into my belly.
Oh, that's Scottish. Get into my belly. Get in my belly now.
At least you recognized it. I would walk 5,000 miles.
100.
Well, if you're going to go for the low effort, yeah, okay.
Well, there's no way a Scottish person's going to walk 5,000 miles.
Yeah, I would imagine that it would get kind of gamey under the kilt if you did
Under the quilt? Oh, you're dead. You're dead.
You know what, though? I saw no less than 3 people walking around Comic-Con with kilts on. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what they're trying to prove. But also, to skip ahead, just because this is applicable to the topic at hand, somebody had a Dalek there that was a little bigger than I think the props on the show are, but it had there were 2 people controlling it. One had it radio controlled, so it moved around, and the little suction cup thing moved, and the headpiece scooted around, had a little light underneath it, so it had mechanisms under. And then there was another guy who had a little microphone who would like turn away from people and talk, but he had an American accent, so the Dalek, you know, didn't sound as authentic as mine. So I should have gotten into an argument.
He didn't speak like Liberace.
The Liberace Dalek.
Yeah. He's just waiting for the right doctor to come along.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know if the that lisp is going to sound really harsh over the electronics, you know. So anyway, well, oh yeah, you said the death of freedom of speech in the UK, right?
Yeah.
That was yours? That was the big one?
It's unbelievable. The thing is, I watch the news, Carolyn gets so annoyed with me. I'm sat there watching the news going, look at that, look, Carolyn, it's what they're not showing us. It's what they're not. I'm fucking basically, you, Rossi, have made me sit there with a fucking piece of fucking tinfoil on my head. But the thing is,
that's not a piece of tinfoil and a critical eye, my friend.
But the thing is, it's because I'm seeing it all over the media they tried to keep away from us. So I'm seeing all the real stuff. And if people think it's all fucking AI shit, it's bloody good AI. And I'm just like, why is that not being mentioned? Why is this not being mentioned? You know, the shit they put on the news is an embarrassment now. Now, I watch the ITV. I don't watch the BBC because there's absolutely no point watching anything that the BBC put on the news because they've been found out and had to apologise numerous times, and I mean fucking numerous times, for the lies they've done.
Yep.
Now, we'll be going, oh, John, no. Look it up. Look what they've had to do and apologise, especially recently to our Jewish brethren, because they do what the papers do. They do a big spiel on the front page, and then they'll do a retraction 3 weeks later on page 27.
Yeah, because they know nobody's going to read the retraction.
That's right. And so that's what the BBC have been caught doing. They've been doing stuff where they've not verified it, and they just went with it straight away, because most of the BBC hate Jewish people because they're all ultra-lefties. You know, you only got a job in the BBC years ago because if you read The Guardian, because that's the only place they advertise jobs. You know what I mean? So it's that. So it's never changed. You know what I mean? People, but then you get people saying, no, the BBC is this.
It's called a Gelman. It's called a Gelman effect. It's where just say they wrote an article. Just say Rossi read an article in the newspaper about Weird Al, and there's 20 things inaccurate or totally wrong in the article, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because Rossi knows the subject matter really well, he can tell what's wrong with it. But then Rossi reads the rest of the newspaper and thinks the rest of the newspaper is totally accurate.
Right.
And I'm not saying Rossi does that, but it's called a Gelman effect. It's where
what boomer still reads the newspaper?
Well,
Holy shit!
It's the tendency to readily accept information from media sources, even when one has personal expertise and recognizes inaccuracies, while simultaneously believing other unrelated news from the same source is credible.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all crap. I'm the opposite now. I believe it's like just all made up, except for the newspapers John brings me. Those are like.
That's right.
Unless there's a quote there that you can go by, because you can get sued over quotes if you misquote.
But even then, it's like it's taken it could be taken out of context. A lot of them are. So.
You see, even that time when I was interviewed for the magazine SFX for my 5 things that I liked of Dread, and they got that wrong. And I said, look, I'll send you, and I said to the bloke when I was on the phone, I'll email you this, mate, so you get it bang on. And when it comes out, fucking 3 of them were wrong. And I had to fucking contact a couple of people and say, that's not what I said. I said this. And I'm just like, fuck, mate, even on something so mundane as an interview with a fucking lunatic who collects shit, you couldn't even get it fucking right.
Yeah, the cracks started to show. Well, there was that time during the earthquake where we had a major earthquake, and the press were crawling all over the bookstore, the neighborhood around the bookstore, and they were just filming like every fire hydrant that was spewing water and every bit of broken glass on the ground. And then they came in the store and asked us if they wouldn't mind knocking some books off the shelves to make it look worse.
Oh my God.
That was pretty bad. And then when they started making the comic book movies, and they would ask, there was a then prominent comic book store in Hollywood called Golden Apple, and the guy who worked there, he was kind of like their go-to Hollywood comic book guy whenever
Is that gone
an
now?
X-Men movie was coming. You know what? I don't know. There was the big store on Melrose that we used to go to all the time. And then I don't know how many years ago they moved to, they're still on Melrose, but at this like tiny, tiny shop. It was like barely a quarter of the size of the original. The original was like the pop culture store you went to if you were anywhere in this area. And then the small one was just kind of like, yeah, we've got comics. We got this week's comics and we got some back issues.
Golden Apple's still around, Rossi.
And that guy died. So they might be, I think the shop reduced in size shortly after that guy died. Anyway, they would interview that guy if there was ever a comic book movie like especially like when the X-Men movies were coming out. And they always got something wrong. Chris Claremont created the X-Men, that kind of shit. It's like, all right, can't get comic books right, but I totally believe you on the geopolitical stage. So anyway, what's going on in America, aka
Well, I watched. It kind of it dovetails into movies and TV. I watched the episode of South Park.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I thought some of it was pretty funny. Some of it was too extreme. A lot of it they missed the mark, and I don't know where they're getting their information from. But some of it seems to be really contrived. Like it starts off with Cartman waking up and he can't listen to NPR anymore because it's off the air. Because they defunded it, but the problem with that is that they didn't actually defund all of NPR because they can't. They only stopped government funds going there because NPR gets the majority of its money from the public, from fundraisers.
Okay. Right. So
it's not going to go off the air.
No, this is South Park. South Park uses a lot of tricks, and a lot of them are just like standard comedy exaggeration for the sake of the satire being funny.
Yeah, it went to complete extreme with the whole.
And some of it, right, and some of it could be not so much like this is where it's going to go. It's they're making fun of the way people perceive it. So they're making fun of. They may not be making fun of it being off the air or whatever because of the defunding. They're making fun of the way people perceive, like, oh my God, they've defunded it, so it's going to go off the air. That kind of hysteria.
Right. I mean, it was fair. Some of it was pretty funny.
The clip I saw, it's kind of like, all they did was in the South Park longer uncut movie, the running gag was, their version of Saddam Hussein was dating Satan in a gay romance, and the voice didn't sound like him and all that, but they just had like this cutout of his face. They had his head, and they kind of like they do the sort of paper cut animation, so they did his face and the silly voice, and it was like all they did was they took photos of Donald Trump and used the exact same Saddam Hussein voice,
the same thing,
and the same gay relationship with Satan. Yeah, so they're conflating, and again, it's like, I don't know if they're conflating Trump with Saddam Hussein or if they're making fun of the people who are conflating Trump with Saddam Hussein, Hitler, history's greatest villains.
No, that's not what they did. You haven't seen it, so you wouldn't know.
Well, I saw the clip. I mean,
you saw the clip, but you didn't see the episode.
Right. All right.
So you've no frame of reference.
It's okay. I mean, I've seen more South Park in my life than you have, but
did you see the Trump episode?
Fight!
Did you see the Trump episode?
No.
Well, then you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I stopped watching. I saw the Kathleen Kennedy episode, and that was funny too, but it sounds like you had a lot of the same complaints that I mean, it was funny, and it had some really funny moments, and they're the only ones who would like go there with a lot of the jokes that they did have in the Kathleen Kennedy one. But overall, it's kind of like, well, where did that come from? Or kind of like a half-baked take on what people are saying. So I think I know. I when you say it about the Trump thing, it's like, yep, I've seen that. Yep, they do that. So
yeah, there is one part where that was pretty funny, where he sees a portrait of himself being painted, and it's a really bad portrait, so he asks to get the portrait changed, and that really did happen. Because the White House, whoever they got to do the portrait of Trump, the image was so bad. I mean, it was like through it. So
they should bring that lady in who fixed the picture of Jesus.
Yeah, well, that would have been better. But they asked some art critic about it, those portraits as well, and he said, "Well, that's just the person's style. They didn't go out of their way to make him look bad. That's just the way they draw." And so he had it replaced with something that looked more accurate. So, I mean, I can't blame him for doing that, but that was pretty funny. And
more true accurate.
The great thing that it did do is that everybody that hates AI automatically became, and hates Trump, automatically became an AI lover.
Yeah.
Because they did a Trump ad at the very end where he's walking through the desert completely naked, and then his PP starts talking. I'm Donald Trump and I approve of this message. So, but it was all AI. So yeah, so the people cheering on the South Park episode that hate AI are now AI lovers. So that's the one good thing it did.
Yeah. There was some guy walking around Comic-Con with the sign that said AI makes war, and I was like, okay. But if you'd seen the guy, you go, it'd be like, oh, okay, I'm not surprised. So anyway. So that was it?
That was it, really.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about your adventures in Comic-Con, Rossi.
In anti-Trump land?
Yeah.
Well,
before you start, Rossi, tell people that you weren't going to go there.
I don't know if I ever did.
You did.
Did I actually say I wasn't going to? Okay, so I wasn't sure.
You're not going to go this year. And I said, I said, when I come out next time, I said, we'll go there again. And you went, yeah, I'll leave it to then, sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I wasn't really going to go. And I probably said, at some, maybe more than once. But and on the AP Zoom chat, I was kind of like, and part of it was because like my days off didn't fall on the days that, one of them did. But I was just kind of like, unless I'm going to be useful, I don't really see as it is, I can see that all the guys every week on the Zoom chat when we talk about the production meeting and all. But they told me like, well, if you can come and help pack up the boxes on the last day, that would be very appreciated. So I did that, and it was very appreciated, but it took way longer than I imagined, because I that part I'd never done, with the packing up I'd never done. And
well, it's a good part thing they paid you.
Yeah. Well, in a sense, they did, because they had a guy who they were going to remainder some books. They were going to have a guy who was going to come to buy them for pennies on the dollar and then resell them for nickels on the dollar. And that guy never showed up. But one of the boxes they found in the remainder pile was because they never got a chance to put it out. So I said, how much would you charge that guy for the box? And they said, no. I said, $20, and they're like, yeah, that sounds okay. So I said, all right. So I got a bunch of actually I got the Fred Perry variant cover.
Wait, hold on. So you volunteered your time, right, to help pack up, right? And then you paid them $20 for a box of comics.
Yeah. But the
Why
Fred
just
Perry
give it to you for free because you spent that time boxing
because the booth did not do spectacularly well, and every dollar helped. So Also, not gonna lie. So I also bought a T-shirt because I felt guilty because it was my crackpot idea. I don't know if you saw the one that I posted. We were at the Zoom meeting before the Thunderbolts movie came out, and actually, I think I tell a lie. The Thunderbolts movie had just come out, and there's the adorable guinea pig that John pointed out in the trailer. Is in the opening scene of the movie. She rescues the Black Widow's sister, rescues it, and then they see her carry it in the trailer. You see her carrying it out of the building that explodes in the background. And so in the movie, at the end credits, it says Thunderbolts asterisk will return, or I think it says New Avengers at that point. New Avengers will return, and Bob. So I said, well, it should say Guinea Pig will return and Bob. And so they said, all right, let's do that as a shirt. And so the refrain, every time it came up, people were interested, like, I don't understand the shirt. It's like, well, it's from Thunderbolts. And they go like, oh, I didn't see Thunderbolts. And I said, you and a lot of other people, because because that was a meme that did not go viral because the movie did not go anywhere near viral enough. So
did you?
I was
for when you went down to Comic-Con on that day, did you dress up as Pedro Pascal and start groping women, saying you have an anxiety issue?
Yeah, that's coming out, isn't it? Yeah, no, and I'm glad I didn't get groped either because I had to hit the road at my brain just leapt ahead to another part of the story, and I'm thinking like, should I tell that part? Should I tell that part on the show? And I'm thinking there's a way around it. So I had to get on the road at 4 a.m. to get there around the time the convention opened. And, I don't know if I've told the horror stories about riding the Metro. I don't know what they call it now, but it's basically our monorail train. So there was the only other guy, it was still dark at 4 a.m. And the only other guy at the outdoor train station had one leg and was literally just rolling laps around the bench where I was sitting on for reasons I don't understand. And then finally the train arrived and I got on, and there was like a half dozen guys like wearing hoodies and slumped over forward like sleeping. And that was the car that pulled up right in front of me, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll find another car. So I took a dozen steps the other towards the other one, got on that car, and there was another half dozen guys on that car, all dudes wearing hoodies, slumped over forward, sleeping. I was like, I think I see what's going on here. This is the new porno theater where you go to the porno theater and because it's open 24 hours and you just like fall asleep. You can't even be bothered to watch the porn. So luckily there was like two seats against the wall. So I sat with my back to the wall, looking out at the car, going like, okay. And then when we got downtown, I caught the Greyhound, no problem. It was just kind of like a long wait. And then there was a new wrinkle. Traditionally, in years past, when you get to San Diego, it drops you off on the street where the convention is.
Yeah.
Just 2, 3, 4 blocks away from the convention.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, even with my shitty knee, I can do that. But this year, it did not. It dropped me off at this little village. It was like this little station in the middle of town, miles away from the convention center. So I was like, well, how am I going to get there? And I had to ask a person who was working the station there, and they were like, oh, there's a convention train coming. And I was like, oh, okay. How did I know it was a convention train? A, it had convention nerd, I think it was Bob's Burgers shit all over the side of it. And B, it was, you remember that train we took on the way back, John, that was jam-packed with people? Like, it was a Chinese fucking subway? It was like that. Yes, and then it stopped and let more people get on. Jeez. Several times.
So I've got to say to people, think of the tube. It's so packed, you're squashed against people. That's what it was like for like an hour and a half or whatever it fucking took to get from fucking convention back to Rossi's fucking to LA. It was fucking unbelievable.
Well, also this is America, so a lot of the people are morbidly obese, and a quarter of them are wearing masks. So thank God for them, because I didn't get their Comic-Con crud. So and I didn't even I didn't when they pointed it out, it was on its way. And if I was supposed to pay a toll, or they had a little machine that I guess you were supposed to get a ticket or whatever for, I didn't have time for it. So I was like, I'm just going to take my chances and jump on this thing, because it was already starting to get hot. So I jumped on, got to the con, and it's like, nobody told me that this was part of it. And the driver goes, I said, well, what about the bus that goes to the, I thought you went all the way to the convention center. And they were like, oh, not for a long time. And I'm like, well, if your interpretation of not for a long time is less than a year, obviously, it's because that's what you did last year. So anyway, I got moved with that mob across the street, and got to the thing. The short version to the story that I was pausing on is I was going to meet my friend Daniel to pick up my pass. And I love Daniel. He's my brother from another mother. But a lot of times when we plan to do something, there's always like a wrinkle. And there was like a big lump in the carpet for some of the stuff that was supposed to happen that day. But luckily, the AP guys came they had a pass for me, and I got in and was able to walk around a little bit, but my leg was really hurting. So here's the old man yells at clouds part of the thing. And part of it's a generational thing, so it really is the old man stuff. But Comic-Con, like, officially now, and this isn't just because our booth didn't do spectacularly well, almost anybody whose main thing was comics was not doing well. Even Image Comics, which was catty corner to us. I can't speak to dollars and cents with 100% accuracy about how Rebellion did, but I know about how much our space cost, and their space was significantly larger, and they had to have a construction crew come in to build it. Wow. And they had more giveaways and things going on.
Rebellion did.
So yeah, so and there was a lot of open air, open floor space, which was not being used. They had tote bags, which I think might have been the same tote bags that they have been giving away, and then they had it was a poster tube, which I suppose you could use as a mailer tube, and it was blue. It had like I guess it was a sticker that over it. It was a cardboard tube. You put like a mailer tube, but they had a thing over it that was blue. It had the Dave Gibbons, iconic Rogue Trooper artwork with the logo, and they're giving those away so people could put their rolled up posters in it. They had, and you saw my buddy Daniel did take a lot of pictures of what they were selling at the booth, and that was pretty much it. I will confirm that, like, what's in those photos is pretty much it. And based on the popularity of anything that isn't Judge Dredd and what they were selling there, I can't believe that they would have made their money back on that. It was like strictly a PR thing. I don't know. Was Mulcher and Mulcher and the girl from the Shillcast must have been there, right? Because they were recording Shillcast episodes for their panels.
I see.
But I didn't see him there. There was just people, and they had American, going by the accents, I assume, and the fact that one of them looked Mexican. I think that they had hired people to work the booth. So with all those factors,
well, that's what they did last time.
Yeah. So with all those cost factors in there, I can't believe that they would have made their money back. And I'm not picking on them. I'm just using it as an example everybody can relate to. Yeah, well, the thing was, like, directly across from us last year was Distillery, and not only were they, I mean, they were not there in the sense that there wasn't even an empty table. It was just empty, this huge empty space between us and whatever the next thing was. And then we were like right next door to Diamond, and that was weird because it was like this gigantic empty space. And I guess they still had the toy arm things because there was like one. Traditionally is a big space with a big walk-in area, and it's like display cases of all the statues and toys and tchotchkes and everything. They had like one display case with some of the statues in it. It looked so weird. And let's be honest, they were the cause of a lot of whoever wasn't there. Chances are it was because of the Diamond thing. But like the book area seemed to be doing fine. I went by the L. Ron Hubbard people. They said they were doing fine, but she pointed out they had 4 framed Frazetta prints, and she says, well, 2 of those are sold. And they said, how much are those? And she goes, $1,000 each. So there were 4 of them, and she said that they were probably had paid for their booth because of that and some high ticket things. They had these $275 leather bound editions. She said, yeah, we sold a few of those too. And I was like,
well,
cool.
They're also Scientologists, so they're probably liars too.
I will neither confirm nor deny that and just move along. So anyway, did
you get your Rugged Men book signed, Russie?
I already have. I mean, how many copies of the same book can I read? I'm fine. So having said that, I didn't see any of the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. I don't think they had a booth. They just were doing events at the con, and I didn't get to see any of those. But I did. Okay, so back to Old Man Shouting in Clouds. I didn't see the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, but I did see photos, and I saw photos of the audience taken from the people on the panel, and they were all, it's typical of all the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff. I'm the youngest one by 20 years in most cases. I mean, these are dudes in their 70s or 80s. These are the fans that are still alive. And is not they tried to do like generically brown teenage girl character to get a new audience, and it's like, there's nothing about the Edgar Rice Burroughs books that appeal to generically brown teenage girls. It's, you know, they're those kids, all of those kids are buying the Labubus and looking for K-pop Demon Hunter shit. And the Calico Critters booth again was like around the booth and with those double back, you know, line crowd controller line things. And there were like video games that had huge crowds of people and people. So this is the thrust of the show, much like last year, but like really obvious this year was millennials who were willing to wait in line for 2 hours to pay hundreds of dollars for replicas of things they remember from when they were kids. So I went to the Hasbro booth. Get the bell ready, John. So
I'm ready.
All right. So I went to the Hasbro booth, and it was smaller than last year. But the reason I went to the Hasbro booth was because they do the Micronauts license. Thank you. They had 0 of that. They had some Star Wars stuff. They had a lot of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons stuff. And they had replicas of like the real Ghostbusters toys from the 90s. It's like those characters and those designs. But like this time, glow in the dark, just the same kind of lame toy you remember playing with in the 90s. And so, and it was, I mean, I have a filthy mind sometimes. They had the figures and they were pointing up the, whatever that, the ray is that they use to capture the ghosts. And it looked like, and it was, the whole figure was molded in light green glow in the dark plastic, and it looked like they were shooting jizz upwards. So I thought, well, maybe I'll run into Super 7 because they're the ones who actually, what do they call it? Like,
They did the Barza, right?
Right. So I think a friend of mine said like micro license is like when you, when it's a license that nobody cares about and you're able to get it fairly cheap and you sub-license it from the big company that owns it. So he said he had gotten a license for something very niche and he claims it didn't cost much. Anyway, so Super 7 did that for Micronauts, and they released Biotron and Baron Karza, and they said that there were 2 more figures on the way. I thought, oh, let's go see if they have an announcement for that. And that was the fucking weirdest thing ever because it was a end of the aisle thing. There was a background that just had, I forgot what the word, it was like, it said Super 7, had the Super 7 logo. It was one of those, so it was a guy with it was a guy approximately my age with standing in front of a pedestal, like he's ready to make a speech, and then this bicycle with the ice cream thing attached to the front of it, and a backdrop with the 2 logos, Super 7 and the ice cream company, and on the pedestal was like a little piece. It was a 2-sided sheet of paper, and it was Super 7 logo and Sesame Street and that company, and on the paper was some, I guess they had sub-licensed Sesame Street. They had some Sesame Street toys, and then like a lot of the toys said sold out. So I guess this was Sunday, and they had been able to make up and print out up to date, what was available. It was like a menu. It was supposed to be like a menu, like a cheap diner or a restaurant where they just hand you a paper sheet that's got the what you can order. So I guess the deal was you told this guy, like, I would like a Cookie Monster, please, and he would go into the little box on the bicycle and pull it out like you were ordering an ice cream. I don't know. I do not understand what that was supposed to be. But there were no Micronauts to be seen, heard of, or anywhere to be found on that. A few of the vendors who carried like lots of different toys had them, and there was one guy who had some of the vintage ones for like hundreds of dollars. Like, granted, they were action figures still on the card, but they were like $200 and some odd on the low end. There was the same guy had a Big Jim that was only available in Europe and the UK, Big Jim Tarzan with the gorilla. They were not in the package, but that was like $300 and some odd for the 2 of them, and I was like, holy shit. So you've seen it in my display case, John, when last time we were here with Sam, and you'll get to see it again. But yeah. So anyway,
and a woman will see it as well.
Who will?
A woman.
Yes, I know. She'll be part of the elite. The very few women who've seen it. So anyway, it was very. There was a lot of. So it was millennials waiting in line for like a replica of some Transformers or whatever they grew up with in the late 80s through the 90s. A lot of cutesy stuff. So that Labubu stuff was everywhere. There was some Chinese company that had like a knockoff of the Labubus. Took up almost an entire aisle, and they were trying to make a thing out of it. Calico Critters had like a huge thing. Plush toys everywhere. And then once again, our booth, people were more interested in the cheap-ass plush toys that we had gotten from, some Chinese wholesaler.
John, I'd explain to John what Labubu is, John. They're like, remember the Monchichi monkeys? They came out in the 80s.
Oh, I don't know.
They look like demonic rabbits.
Yeah, they got
cutely
big ears,
demonic rabbits. Yeah. I don't know what they're actually supposed to be, but I think it's going to be like the Moomba comic where it's revealed that they're actually demons and then they get all activated at once and turn on humanity. I think that's what's going to happen. But They were, so those were everywhere. But so this is the old, very old man shouting at crowds thing. Because perhaps I'm sensitive to it because of my knee, but when I'm walking in a straight line, just walking down the street, down the block, I can go for a while before my knee starts to act up. But if I have to start, stop, avoid, twist, turn around, blah, 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 then it really fucks things up.
So you won't be appearing on Dancing with the Stars anytime soon?
You know what? Because I would have a little more control over how I move, yes, I could probably even do that. But
your goose stuffing days are over, Russie.
It's like abrupt stops. Even if I should have goose stepped, because I would have been able to extend my knee and in a controlled manner and kick some ass in the process. Because when I'm at work, especially on Saturdays when we're at our busiest, it's a very fuck you clientele now. So it's like my kids running through the department, fuck you if you don't like it. If it's a danger to anybody else and or the animals that people decide to bring in the store now, fuck you. And we're sitting on the floor, and if you weren't expecting to see us like right in the most high traffic place in the store, sitting on the floor, fuck you. So that kind of thing. So walking around the conventions, and I have never experienced this in the literal decades I've been going. It's like this stroller is going right in front of you while you're walking, and if you don't see it and stop, fuck you. I've got angel wings that it's jam-packed and nobody can get through this area, but I'm wearing angel wings, and if they bash into you because I'm not stopping or walking sideways or doing anything to avoid hitting people with them, fuck you. I just bought some posters, and if I hit you in the face because they're shoved in my backpack and I'm not aware that they are bouncing all over the place and swinging in everybody because everybody's in very close proximity, fuck you. There was kind of like, okay, the crowd sort of like assembled or voluntarily assembled itself into we're going this direction on this side of the aisle, and we're all going on this direction on the other side. No. It was just, good luck, everybody. Fuck you. So that got rough, and I was kind of cranky because my knees and feet were like not in great shape. I gave up, and
no, I can't blame you.
I didn't even I couldn't see I didn't see the whole floor area. For those of you who have never been before, if you're facing the main entrance on the right side of the convention center, and I'm yes, and of course because I'm far right, figure quotes far right. That's where I spend most of my time, mostly because that's where the independent comic people are, and or the tchotchke makers, or the people that carry the vintage stuff, the book all the major publishers are on that side, and the guys who carry like old fart comics, they're there as well. By the way, speaking of old fart comics and high-end stuff, if you thought the L. Ron Hubbard, they were Frank Frazetta prints of L. Ron that he did of L. Ron Hubbard stories. Those were like $1,000. I saw something for $25,000 on display, and it was a piece of artwork. It was a piece of artwork. Now, I didn't. Okay, to take a little side thing. This is a weave. There was another original art dealer that had a Brian Bullen cover that was an actual piece of original artwork it was a cover Brian Bullen did from 2000 AD. I didn't get a great look at it, but I think it was the one where Dread's fighting in the rain. It was like the prelude to Apocalypse War.
Yes, the Orlok the Assassin.
Yeah, I think it was that cover, and I didn't see the price, but it was beautiful.
That would have been an Eagle comic cover.
Oh, was it? Oh, I was that area. I was so caught up in the crowd and trying to keep with the flow that I thought I would just mention it, but it
It
was
for a good lot.
yeah. So the thing was so the weird thing was that was in a glass display case with good lighting, and there was only like 6 other pieces of artwork, and they were all like vintage golden age era type stuff. So that's the kind of care and protection and everything else that piece got. The $25,000 piece was just slapped onto a wall with a bunch of other, pieces of art that were in the hundreds, some of them in the thousands, but none of them was 25. Guess what it was, and guess who did it?
Go on then.
Neil Adams.
Oh.
$6 million man cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So kind of cool, kind of understand it, especially now that he's no longer with us, but oh my God.
Grand.
It was black and white. It was black and white line work. It wasn't even like a painting or anything. So yeah, it was
I'd be amazed if that actually sold.
Yeah. Well, I see, the thing is, like, the days of people looking for cheap shit seem to be over. It's just kind of like everyone's willing to pay a premium price if it's what they want. That Lupin car, I sent you photos of it, and that was like hundreds of bucks too.
Jeez.
As you would imagine. It was all, and some of it's like hundreds of dollars of niche stuff. They had, I also thought of you, but I didn't get a chance to snap a photo because I couldn't get a good shot of it. They had a John Wayne action figure. It was one of those fancy, like 12-inch dolls, of John Wayne. And it was like, yeah, that's going to fly at this convention.
I think most of the time they're just chancing it, hoping that, the investment they put in will be paid off by one person walking past and going, that's what I've always wanted.
So yeah, so to describe the floor. So a lot of that stuff I'm talking about that I saw was on the right side of it. I bought a couple of books from a little publisher, and there was a guy who had like old graphic novels that were like 3 for $10, remainder. I actually, do you remember that line Virgin Comics that Deepak Chopra's son was in charge of, and they did Indian Hindu stuff? So they had one called Devi, and it wasn't, at the time I wasn't like that into the Bollywood movies, and now I realize like this was clear, the character was clearly modeled after this one Bollywood star that was like really popular at the time, as if like, oh, well, if we make the comic, maybe we can get the movie made and she could be the star. So now that I realize that, I'm like, hey, I found volumes 3 and 4 to get that plus one other one for $10. Hey, so and then there were a couple of old guys. I was wearing my Star Crash shirt. There were a couple of old guys, old meaning like my age, who we were talking about Roger Corman movies, and I was like, I'm enjoying this conversation so much. What can I buy from you? That kind of thing. So I got a couple of books from them. But
how did you cart all this home?
Well, the guy that I was supposed to meet before, I got a ride home from him. But
good. I can imagine you on that train or whatever, or bus with a box of comics.
No, so even though it sounds like a lot, I mean, it wasn't a huge box of, I forgot how many comics were in there. It was probably like 50 comics, and there was like, different quantities of but there were a lot of the Fred Perry variant cover.
Were my copies of Jungle Comics there with the Kyla that I was supposed to get?
A year ago. Yeah, we talked about that, and we talked about how it's getting to be, like rivaling my Carolyn Monroe thing length of time to get. And I said,
I forgot about the Carolyn Monroe thing and Rusty until you.
And I told him that I said, well, for me personally, I understand, I can wait, but I said, but Stephen Reed, it keeps asking, and he's absolutely right to be asking. And they're like, I know. They said we've set them aside. We said they're actually stacked and ready to go. They just have to put them in the box. And they've had concerns about the diamond thing and shipping regarding that. So I'm like, oh, I get it. But this was before that even. So I planted the seed for you. I got you.
Poor old David Broughton. Does he get his?
Dave's another story. Yes, he did get his. And then something happened on his end of things something happened to the shipping in the UK, and I think he is missing some of them. So he asked for replacement ones, even though it wasn't AP's fault, I think. So I don't know what's going on there. He's too polite. He's such a polite gentleman. He's like, doesn't ask them directly, and not that would probably speed things up. But they're all going to kick the can down to a guy named Doug who's got too many things to do already. So, but I got to speak to Doug directly at length at the con because he was working the booth, and Doug's a great guy. Anyway, so I spend most of my time on that side, and then there's this kind of mushy middle area where like the bigger publishers and or studios and or like Alex Ross has this huge walkthrough like mini museum on the floor there.
Well, that's because he has a documentary coming out.
Well, he's had that long before the documentary, but he also, is selling his art and prints not cheap. So it's kind of like a faux gallery to see his things. And that's like directly across from where we are. And then you get into Hasbro, Minecraft, Lego. The Star Wars area looked like a fucking graveyard. The toy, then you get the toy companies, and then you get into the video game companies, and then you get an artist alley, which is like, you just taste the salty tang of desperation walking through that area because they know it's coming, but and I don't mean just the AI, I mean like the whole diamond thing. It's going to be like all any company that was like below Antarctic Press is going to be like, and even AP got in there by the grace of another company called Massive, that's taking on some of the smaller companies and pretending like, oh yeah, they're an imprint of us, so to get into Lunar. So so once you get into that other side, it's like, I don't care about Minecraft, I don't care about whatever. Did you guys, I don't know how your Facebook algorithm worked, but did you guys see the Wonder Woman cosplayer? She's pretty tall. Yeah. I saw her. I did see her, and she's an amazing sight in person too. And I didn't ask for shit. I didn't even like. I don't. So at the really, my grumpiness mostly began and ended with the people but that's just people in general in California. Right. I don't know how it is where you are.
Your knees are at you too, so I can't blame you.
It's truly my age, my knees, plus the way people are and treat each other in public now. And it's this generation, and they were raised by the boomers. So if they're selfish, it's like, hey, you learn from the best. And then the kind of not caring about certain things that just weren't a thing in all the years I'd gone to Comic-Con. So the frustration is, you're going to Comic-Con to sell, and so unless you're selling some expensive licensed thing that cost a lot of money to make because of the licensing and marketing and all that, or there's this other side of it that it's this very expensive display that only exists to create an experience as marketing and to remind you about the brand. Like there's this like Minecraft thing you walk through, and touch things and get your picture, a lot of get your picture taken with XYZ. And there's like a Lego thing. They had like a Minecraft and Lego thing that you go through and kids are taking their pictures with it. And they had a thing for the Neutron movie, which wasn't on that side. It was on the right side, but it was like this amazing, like neon lit, black and red neon lit booth with one of the new light cycles in it, and you could get in there and get your picture taken, and they had the Nine Inch Nails logo and their music was playing. So, you know, again, they're not selling anything other than go see this movie when it comes out and tell your friends, you post, get the picture taken, and your 100 some odd Facebook friends or thousands of Facebook friends are seeing it. So I get it, but it's just not something and it's not I hate it. I just am not interested. I'm also not interested in cosplaying unless it's some old fart thing. Like last year, some dude was dressed like Phantom of the Paradise. The one person that I really thought was Tyranny Rex turned out to be a Masters of the Universe character. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of these costumes. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like my friends were showing me pictures on their phone. Oh, look, it's from this video game. Oh, look, and I'm like, I haven't played the video. That's the other thing. I haven't played the video games, so I don't go into that part of it either. You guys remember those bags that were like you could put a small child in them? There's like the con would give out those.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah, they had bags of those size that for Funko Pop, and that was, and there's Funko Pop shit everywhere. So yeah, I mean, there's a huge.
I wonder how all those companies are doing now because of all the tariffs.
Yeah, okay, so going back to the Super 7 thing, I had heard that there were massive layoffs there because of the tariffs.
Well,
so
I remember
weird booth might have been.
But it was at Target, and I took a picture of Baron Karza for you, and that was like $24 for that size of figure and small.
Well, that's par for the course for because they're so boutique. They're not making tens of thousands of it. They're probably making thousands, or whatever. So the other thing was, now that I remember, so after paying $25 for a personal pizza and a Mountain Dew, I went to go look for a place where I could eat it, and I went down this hallway that I'd never been down before, and it was fucking crowded. Like it looked like the refugee ship from Battlestar Galactica, where you go down this very narrow hallway and there's like crowds of people and children, more children than per inch than in the rest of the convention, running back and forth, and families and everything. And I was like, what the hell is this? So I looked in the door. There were like open doors.
That must have been hell on your ankle bracelet going off.
So I peeked in the doorways that were open, and they were all game rooms. And by games, I mean like they had folding tables, and they were playing either board games or Pokemon or card games or D&D or just games. And so the gaming thing there is so huge, and there were like I noticed a lot of them last year, and I noticed even more this year. Very high-end dice tables, $40 for dice actually made out of gemstones or fancy or shiny or clear or whatever. So yeah, I mean, the gaming thing is taken over like a huge part of it, and not just the video game stuff. I didn't see floor where they have the conference room where they do the presentations and the Hall H and all that kind of stuff. So that was there was like a little sub area that I'd never seen before. So I got out of there and then went outside. It was like behind the convention center, and they had a whole fucking fair going on there. And that fair was to promote, I think it looked like Bob's Burgers. I think those were the characters. It was promoting some cartoon that I'm not going to watch. and they had a Ferris wheel and music playing and a boat ride, and just like it was a mini amusement park behind the convention center to promote something. And I was like, damn. So again, like and there were like these two kids dressed in, one was dressed in a suit with, it was like a and he had like a blonde wig, but he looked Asian. And I thought either he's supposed to be some K-pop guy or anime. I don't know. I don't know what's up with these kids anymore. So, and then, and the other weird thing is voice actor XYZ, like it's either voice actor or B actors. The B actors, it depends on if it's something the millennials were into, like a TV show that they watched, there'll be a line. If it's Sam Jones or somebody who is in a B Roger Corman movie or an old TV show, I haven't seen the guys who from Battlestar Galactica, like the guy who played Boomer and Richard Hatch who played Apollo. They used to be at every convention for years and years and years. That was like the
Richard
ongoing
Hatch can't
joke.
make it anymore.
Well, yeah, but I don't even know if Boomer. I don't even know if we didn't do a death report for him, but I don't know if he's still alive. He'll be one of those ones where when or if he does pass away, he'll be like, I didn't even know he's still alive.
Yeah.
But the ongoing joke was like, oh, I went to WonderCon. Was Boomer there? Yeah. Did you get his autograph? No, because I got his autograph once 20 years ago when the show was still on the air, and anyway, so I think that's, if you have any questions, now would be the time, because I think I'm winding down as far as like the things I thought people might be interested in or not interested, but I could spin in an interesting way.
Well, it does seem that every year the comics part gets less and less and less.
That is true. I mean, the people selling the slab, again, high end is the way to go. The people selling the slab stuff I do
have a Death Dealer print by Frank Frazetta actually signed by him.
I have 2 or 3 L. Ron Hubbard prints framed, signed framed museum quality, but they're not a Frank Frazetta. So
yeah, I don't know how much you'd get for that Ron Hubbard stuff though.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the reasons I have one is because I paid $50 for it at a swap meet. So, but hey,
don't you miss the old days at the Con Russie where you can buy bootleg DVDs?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. That guy, and we've gone from like you said, several different places where you could get those, to that one guy. He was there. And you can get the real things too, because like Troma was there, Lloyd Kaufman was there signing Troma DVDs and
the Blu-rays. He had that new Toxic Avenger movie coming out, didn't they?
Yeah, they were giving out like you go to the sports event, they've got the big foam rubber hands. Well, they had a foam rubber Toxic Avenger hand promo thing.
Did they have a big queue at that booth?
What's that?
Did they have a big queue at the booth when he was doing the signing, or was just nobody that bothered?
It's hard to tell because I didn't see him when he was there, right. And when I went by it, it didn't even occur to me it was the Troma booth till I was almost past it because nobody was there, like nobody was caring. So if Lloyd isn't there, nobody cares.
Right.
Full Moon was there, and they had so it depends. Like you could get like the real Blu-rays from the company that made them, but they were like full retail. There might have been a con special of like a few dollars off if you bought 3 or 4, but for the most part they were same price. And that's the problem, is like same price you can get them for off the internet. So like if you have cash in hand, yeah, I mean if you've waited this long, you might as well wait a little longer, just get it off the internet.
Did you get that Arthur Jock book signed for John?
I did not, because Jock wasn't there at the time I was poking around. I heard he was there that day, but I didn't see him because I was at my booth. So, or walking around complaining about shit.
But you got some good photos, Rossi.
Those weren't even me. That was.
I thought they were good.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were good because I subcontracted them. Because they were good because I didn't take them. The first four, the overview ones of the booth, which through I'm going to say it was through skilled photography on Ben's part. Ben Dunn, Antarctic Press's own Ben Dunn, took those photos for all of his fans in the UK to see the Rebellion booth. And nobody had their head turned directly to the camera, so there were no faces where you didn't have to ask for consent. There was one where you see the... Yeah, it really was. There was one that had like the side view of somebody's head, and I was like, you know what, though? I mean, everybody's taking pictures of everything at the con. At this point, it's not like a sexy girl, and boy, that Wonder Woman was being stopped at every corner and every 10 feet for a photo. And so her arms must have been tired because she would do that thing where she like raise her arms so you could see the red, white, and blue cape she was wearing, like the Linda Carter photo. Mm-hmm. But
listen, you're talking to Ben. Tell him we appreciate him taking the pictures. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I will. So he got some good news. The guy who got Warrior Nun on Netflix, he passed away. Not very old.
How's that good news?
Died suddenly. Well, so that's the bad news. You know when you say I got good news, I got bad news. Well, tell me the bad news first, buddy. So that's what that is. The bad news is he passed away. The good news is he did get picked up by somebody else. And I forgot whether he said keep it under your hat because they haven't announced it yet, but it's somebody who's gotten movies in theaters. So
good.
And it's somebody he's known a very long time, and might actually make things happen for him. So I'm happy for him about that.
Oh, just as you mentioned that, I gotta give a shout out to Niall O'Rourke. Niall did a comic book called A Crying Boy, which is a horror comic book a couple of years ago, and that's been picked up to be a movie. It's even got a director attached to it. Michael Altieri has been attached to it. So congratulations, Niall. He's only really. I grew up with Niall Kilbarrack. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and he always wanted to draw comics and do comics. And he said to himself a few years ago, I'm just going to do it. And he's been picked up by he only started writing and drawing like a couple of years ago, and already now he's got a movie deal, and I know he has a kids comic. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was picked up by Keenspot, and they've been promoting the crap out of that too. And it looks like that might be made into an animated series.
Keenspot, I think they're still based in the town where I used to live in. They had a shop there for a little while that they were also running the website out of.
Yeah, so he's doing really well. So congratulations to Niall. That was announced at San Diego.
The good Lord has shined upon me, to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All Irish people talk like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of movies.
Lucky Charms.
to be sure. I could walk around the convention because I had my shillelagh.
I floated around in me crock of gold.
The convention was at the end of the rainbow. So, so just look for the guy with the red neck beard and the clay pipe.
The midget with the green bowler bat.
The green bowler bat with the shamrock sticking out of the headband. Now that we've been thoroughly racist against them. So speaking of movies, now again, my
go in the movies and TV. Go ahead.
No. This is still the convention. So I only canvassed one half of the convention center, and even that not entirely well. And I was only there for a day, and I was at the booth a lot of the days. So those are my disclaimers. But having said that, and having seen Wonder Woman and one example of the character I'm going to be talking about, but it was, you would have rather been struck and blind than seen what I saw with that one. What movie coming out just in a few weeks do you think would be heavily promoted, and or you would have seen something like a flyer, a giveaway, a poster, a foam rubber sword, anything? That's the clue.
Is Pedro Pascal going to be in it, or Pervo Pascal?
I don't know, anything. What movie do you think should have been at least mentioned within eyeshot of somebody who would actually care? Because the Rogue Trooper, I don't mean the Rogue Trooper movie, because that's A, not coming out in the next few weeks, and B, nobody cares. But even that got some kind of push there that we,
He-Man.
Between. No, but that is a good answer. But there's He-Man shit all over the convention. I did see He-Man stuff.
Because I know they're coming out.
Not from that He-Man, because that's still down the pipeline. But I mean literally weeks.
Jeez, give us another hint.
So I'm trying to think of ways they could have promoted it that would be fun or funny that might help you. But so I'll just give it away in a complete lack of almost. Well, actually, you know what? I actually saw a flyer lying on the sidewalk when just before that movie came out.
Is it by a big movie company?
At this point, it's independent, but it is going to be theatrical, so that's why I'm surprised. Yeah, so like years ago, I saw a hand flyer, like a flyer of the movie poster for Solomon Kane, literally lying on the sidewalk outside of the convention center, and I was like, they made a Solomon Kane movie? And so that's how I found out and heard about it, and then it was like literally a few years before I actually got to see it, and then it was like not entirely legally. I think I sailed the high seas first, and eventually I did buy like the real deal when it came out, but it was a journey. It took a long ass time for it to eventually creep into America. But like Red Sonja, yeah, it's coming out the 18th, and there was like literally nothing within sight, and it wasn't like I was looking, but it definitely would have caught my eye if there had been anything.
Yeah, that's
so there was a very out of shape woman trying to do the Frank Thorne version of the Red Sonja costume, burying a lot of skin.
Well, good for her.
It was the body positivity Red Sonja,
right?
And with tattoos that even I think the woman in the movie has tattoos, because tattoos are cool. And I think she may have had, her own tattoos were like more than what they would have. Anyway, yeah, it was just. But I didn't see the Red Sonja cosplayer until pretty late in the show on Sunday, and that's when I even remembered, like, oh shit, that's right, they've got a Red Sonja movie. I have not seen anything.
Wow.
But also knowing the layout of the convention center, even though I didn't get to that other side that was mostly Lego and Minecraft and more experiences than people trying to sell shit. I don't think.
Well, it's an independent movie, so maybe they couldn't afford to.
I mean, that's the other thing is, like, back in the day, especially during the costume contest, independent movies like Troma would, when the judges were deliberating who was going to win the contest, that was their chance to reach a big audience. They would show the trailers for like the new Troma movie and the new Roger Corman or the new indie sci-fi, because the only people making sci-fi and superhero movies were like indies at that time. So when X-Men had a trailer at the Comic-Con for the costume during the costume contest, that was a huge deal. I mean, they went nuts for that. But now it's kind of like, oh, what is this indie piece of shit? Because I am here for Transformers, and like you said, I am here for He-Man. There was. I don't know if you saw the pictures I took last year of the He-Man booth where it's like Castle Grayskull and you walk through it, and that was there. So, yeah, Barbie had a walk through.
Yeah,
so.
I wonder, did Marvel have a big presence?
That was the other thing.
It didn't seem like it did.
Yes and no. It was a walkthrough, but there wasn't much in it. And if somebody wasn't there, I
didn't hear any hype about any movie announcements or anything like that over the weekend.
No, they had. I've seen it like on like shill sites and on Facebook, but like they had a glass case. The character costumes were in glass cases for the Fantastic Four. They did not have the guinea pig from Thunderbolts.
Was the costume for Mr. Fantastic? Was his conjoined with Sue Storm?
He did have his arm. He was nervous, and to relieve his stress, the statue of Reed Richards had his arm around Sue. And I don't know how it factors into the movie because I haven't seen it yet, and may not until
Well, it made domestically it made a little less than Superman, but internationally it made a little more than Superman. So
right,
it's good to see
because Marvel.
Well.
Okay.
Well, I don't think the Fantastic Four. I don't know the budget on it was more than Superman's though.
I think there was like massive reshoots, and I didn't see. I heard about, but I did not see the Galactus going through. The cosplay. Did you see the cosplay? I think he was. I don't think he was there from Marvel. I think he was just a guy showing off what he could do.
One in front of him, then he came through.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm neither here nor there about the costumes. The kids seem to like it. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them, I don't know what the hell it was supposed to be. Some of them were pretty low effort, but as long as people have a good time, my buddy Daniel's like into it. His daughter's into it. So as long as the kids are having a good time, but I'm just not. It's the millennial thing, the millennial and Zoomer thing. They're there to take pictures, and it's like take pictures of the cosplayers, take pictures of themselves doing shit in the experiences. Oh, so I was going to mention one other thing because it's in our video. You remember like how across the street from the convention center there was like there was like the Ninjago dojo, and there were like people doing Tai Chi, and then they had the Kong Island, and there was like one thing. I didn't see any of that this year. It was there, and there were posters like on the sides of buildings, but it wasn't like all over. It didn't feel like it was like all over the place like when we were there and for the years after.
Well, it looks like the height of the con was when we went, actually probably from the high moments, and it seems like since the years maybe after the pandemic, everything's been scaled back.
It was sort of like the lockdowns obviously slowed things way down, and then kind of like a crawling back, and then there was like a blip last year. They were like, okay, it's back, baby. And then because of the Diamond thing, maybe because the MCU and the DCU haven't been doing well, maybe because of again, people are going to Comic-Con but not buying comics, and that's true in stores too. It just felt like there wasn't as much. There were, like I said, once you get into like that, you cross for those who have never been, you cross the street, and then there's the trolley car, and then you get on the other side of the tracks of the trolley car. There's like this area that I was talking about where all this stuff is, and there was even like a Simpsons replica of Springfield that you could walk through. It was almost like a little mini park, one year. I think the year we were there, it was like a little Walking Dead town. And then on the other side of that, it's kind of like where the restaurant fancy, or when the restaurants people go to when they go to the convention, that starts. There was like that area that was usually Springfield or the Walking Dead town. They had some big thing for Percy Jackson, which again, you guys don't care. I care about it because I read the first book. It was pretty good. I watched the miniseries. It was good, but it's like huge with the kids, second only to Harry Potter. So this was like they had a big trident, Poseidon trident with like neon on it sticking out of the top of it and all that. So, and then after that, I didn't see a lot of, outside experiences. So again, might have been Old Man Shouting in the Clouds, or it might have been Everything's a Little Tired and Scaled Back. And again, like a lot of this stuff is, my final Old Man Shouting in the Clouds thought is, the other problem is a lot of this stuff is like decades old. Like the Lupin how old is Lupin the Third? Is it 50?
Lupin is over 50 years old.
So it's like 50 years. It's like you can get this car for this thing that's like over 50 years old. There's a Star Wars area.
They still make. Yeah, but the thing is, it hasn't got out of pop culture because they still make the TV shows and the movies.
Right. But again, it's like this. It's like this franchise. It's like decades old. Percy Jackson's like over 20 years old now, even though you guys might not have heard of it. It's like been popular for 20 some years. So pretty much anything in there that you'd heard of is like decades old now. And it kind of never really went away. Yeah, that's I was talking to my friend Daniel about that on the way home, because his daughter she cosplayed as Hermione. She's like part Vietnamese, part Mexican Hermione. Talk about cultural appropriation.
Culturally appropriating other stuff.
Right. And I said, did any of the blue hairs call her a transphobe or something? And he said, no. He says, the fans just don't seem to care. And I said, that is true. Like if the people who like it still like it, no matter what they think of her. But I know of booksellers who are kind of like pissed off because they're doing like banned book displays, and the Christians have been after Harry Potter for decades, because of the witchcraft. It's like, oh, I don't want my child exposed to that witchcraft. And the blue hairs don't want to put Harry Potter books on banned book displays because they think J.K. Rowling's a transphobe. And I'm like, who's banning the books now, Moses? Yeah. So anyway, so that's the long con story. That's the long con.
Well, I don't have anything for a Kickstarter corner unless you have something else.
Well, there was you know what? I'm gonna, when John's talking movies, I'm gonna put my mic on pause because I have to look up something that I saw at the con that I could have sworn I backed as a Kickstarter, and I just don't remember at this point. But a friend of mine, so Daniel's like, he was into the cosplay community and still kind of sort of is for a while, and so that Legend of the White Dragon, that the guy who played the Green Ranger, the guy who popped his own cork, as they would say in this comic, that has been dragging on for longer than the Monroe book, I think. And they took a lot of money in to get that movie made. And so Daniel was saying, like, a lot of people who worked on that movie won't talk about the guy who produced it. And somehow the guy who produced it found $100,000. Like, he's not making any money off the movie yet, really, except for what the Kickstarter took in. And he found $100,000 to buy himself a new house recently. And so it's so people are really pissed off. Like, you bought yourself a house, and like there's always, again, for years there's always been some kind of color correction that needs to be done, and we needed to what the guy's dead, so we needed to reshoot something, and now that has to be color corrected and sound remixed and everything else. And we're waiting to get theatrical distribution, so we can't give you your digital copies until it plays in the theaters because we're afraid of piracy. So it went from like, oh, I understand it's everything was slowed down by the pandemic, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, yeah, this is getting a little goofy. So that's one Kickstarter that's like, still haven't heard anything from that Amazon woman thing. The faux pulp that the guy said weeks ago. How many weeks ago now? Like a month? Is it over a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, fulfillment's happening. So, like I said, you better fucking well wrap that story up in the first one, because I am not coming back for part 2. There was a book I think I talked about on here called Luchadors versus Everything, and so they had like a giveaway postcard with a QR code. And so I was like, I could have sworn I backed this thing. And the guy who did that, the Mexican painter who did like the luchador artwork, painted covers for the Mexican comics, and now they're collecting his stuff as an art book. I don't know if he was actually there or if they just had artwork he had done for these new lucha comics. But they had some of his prints. They had there was like a wrestling nostalgia table that these guys were all like going in on and rotating on. So like some hours the guy who had signed photos of wrestlers was there. Some hours the guy who's doing the lucha comics was there. Some hours the family that did some of the old lucha movies and had some of their stuff, they were there. The guy, do you remember a thing called El Tigre? Is like an animated
kind of, yeah,
thing. I think it was the same guy who did like Book of Life, and he did another kind of 3D CGI film. Anyway, so that guy was there doing some lucha things. So they were right behind the AP table, but I couldn't keep track of who was where when, and apparently neither could they. So what was the other? So what was that? Oh yeah, so Kickstarter Corner. So that art book is still out there, but they say that's being fulfilled. Ben Cullis said that number 11, 77, number 11, 711. Does he get that? Would he get that 711?
Probably not.
70. Okay. Anyway, he said that those are coming. The print file's done. I think it's at the printer. But their next project's going to be like that V, the complete version of that V story that was ongoing in the 77. It feels like they're wrapping up some of their ongoing things, like Joe's story, I think, was wrapped up in the trade collection. And I know that V was not completed in 77, but it looks like they're going to complete it for their book. So anyway, that's all I got. I think that's all I got for Kickstarter Corner.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, you want to do movies and TV?
John, you're the leader on that one.
I watched one film over a week. I watched about 10, 15 minutes each day or other day. It was called... it was fucking... Well, I'll say anyway while I'm getting there. It was called Never Grow Old from 2019. I think it was on Channel 4.
That's one about World War One.
No. This is it's basically the Wild West. where the wagon train. It's basically what's happening around this town is people are heading to California for the gold. You know what I mean? To start their lives. And this stars Emile Hirsch, John Cusack, Deborah Francois, and Danny Webb. Basically, Emile Hirsch is the town undertaker. He lives a little bit far out from the town. Danny Webb is the fucking insane priest, vicar, whatever you want to call him, who doesn't believe. When he arrived in town, he shut down the saloon. So there was no. Well, the saloon's still open, but it doesn't do alcohol, no whores, no anything like that. So there's no entertainment, and all the women dress accordingly. Anyway, so John Cusack and two mates turn up, and they decide they're going to fucking run the place, and they start killing people, and because Emile Hirsch is the undertaker, the carpenter and the undertaker, he gets paid money for every kill to bury the people by the sheriff, and it just basically it goes on about how shit life is at the time. It's just like depressing and more depressing. Cusack tells the person, he's I'm going to buy that fucking saloon, get a load of prostitutes from the further down the next town, get a load of booze in, we're fucking opening. And it was all just like how shit it was, you know what I mean? It just drudgery. And it was so fucking quiet. I had the subtitles on, couldn't hear fucking anything. I had the TV on like fucking 50% volume. And I fucking thoroughly enjoyed the drudgery, because it was just like, fuck me, this is relentlessly hilarious, but excellently acted. My favourite was Emile Hirsch, who was like the put-upon person, who at the very end he used all his money that he'd got from all the graves and shit to buy a massive gun, sort of like a blunderbuss type thing, filled it full of fucking shit, got a couple of sidearms, and then went to fucking basically do revenge on what's been happening. And I'll give it a 7. It was enjoyable, but like I say, it was just fucking, I was watching it whenever I could, so it was like, right, all a bit quiet, I'll put fucking telly on, have a watch of this, right, and I just went like that, because there's not really much to the story. It's just relentlessly fucking horrendous. So I enjoyed it, and that's what I watched on that. TV-wise, Resident Alien, fuck me, we watched 2 episodes last night. We're one behind at the moment. Fucking pissing ourselves laughing. It's hilarious. It just gets more crazy all the time. As you think, right, how can they sort of like add stuff to this? Next week, something happened, you know, fuck me, where'd that come from? Fucking absolutely loving it. Murderbot, watched that. The ending of it was very, it was not what I expected. So the final episode, basically, the Murderbot, who'd been with this group of people on the planet, was getting took back in to the factory that he was produced from, and they were going to take out, because he had managed to alter this inhibitor thing so he could watch TV programs and shit and enjoy his life but still do his job, and he managed to alter that. Now they were going to change it so he'd be just a normal fucking robot type thing, but the team who had him, at first they were a bit unwary of him, but they wanted him back, and they said, right, if you don't give us him back, we're going to tell the universe what you were doing on that planet, because we met this other group of people there. And so that was like a side thing. Eventually said, we'll give you him back, but just to let you know, we've wiped him. He's back to what he was. But one of the members of the team had this fucking like AI thing in his neck, and he could plug into computers, and because he'd done something with the Murderbot earlier on in the episodes, he managed to get all the shit back into him, so he's back to how he was with them. So you thought they were going to fucking all live a happy life together, but he decided to fuck off and travel the universe, and so they were all wondering where he was, and he was on a spaceship departing the big area that they were on. So it was sad, but it was like, oh, I didn't expect that. That was an interesting end, because they could have easily just went, he's with them, and they could all just travel about doing stuff, and he'd be like a protector with these guns in his arms and stuff. So quite enjoyed that. And then I watched the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Oh, I thought it was piss.
The first episode that continued the final episode, I enjoyed it, but I thought when they were, as used to the term plot convenience. So in the Gorn spaceship, they had got a load of people from this colony, I think it was, and some members of the crew in this. They were like, you know, when you see the Matrix and they're all plugged, Neo was plugged in. They're in a similar thing like that. But what this thing does, it dissolves the people inside to make energy and food. But luckily, the 4 members of the crew managed to get out. The pilot, lass, I think she's the pilot, her right hand was dissolved a bit. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the reaction to that. But then they ummed and ahed about getting everybody else out because they'd figured out that this is what the machines are doing. They're dissolving the people. But they said they would get them out, but they fucked off and started doing other stuff. So sort of like themselves. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. If it's already dissolved their right fucking hand, like the right hand side of it, surely by the time they get back after doing what they're doing, most of the other people will be fucking gone.
Did you like the weapons? They didn't take the Gorns didn't take the weapons off them. That they actually.
That's right.
Yeah, that the weapons were all there, down in the garbage chute, or whatever, and they still worked, even though they had guns all over them.
It was handy, wasn't it?
And you know what's really handy? Where they faked the hibernation thing, so every single Gorn ship decides, oh, okay, that's it. We're all going back into hibernation. How are they going to conquer the fucking universe when they hibernate for most of the months?
I know. Yeah,
it was. So that episode was so stupid.
Yeah, the threat from them is negligible once they all hibernate. You just go along and get them and just wipe them all out, don't you?
Yeah.
But I've seen upcoming stuff. One thing I saw from San Diego was all these trailers and stuff, and there was a trailer for Spartacus TV series that I've thoroughly enjoyed over the years, and they've got a new one coming out at the end of the year with a new. I presume she's supposed to be a Nubian or an Amazonian, so it's a female member of the fucking gladiators who is front and center, and she's beating all the men up, and I just sat there going, well, that's me not watching this. I don't care if there's tits and fanny and cock all over it like there was in all the other episodes. I'm not going to watch yet again another thing where men get beaten up who are like muscular to fucking trained all these eyes when one woman turns up. I don't care if people are screaming. It's absolute bollocks. You know, look, did you not watch the thing the other day where 3 policewomen were arresting a bloke who was just like, I'm not resisting, and they were screaming like little girls at him. One had so much makeup on her face, I thought it was some sort of weird porn movie advert. It was fucking ridiculous. Did nobody watch the women get beaten up at the airport, Manchester Airport? One got her nose smashed in. I don't mind unbelievable stuff, but physical unbelievable stuff, unless they're like a robot, I would not fucking going to have.
Or unless it's intentionally made that way. It starts that way.
That's right. For instance, the female on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
They're not human. They're fucking this and the other. One's fucking half robot-y type thing. That fair one. But I'm talking about a fucking human who can suddenly do all this. It's just fucking insane, and I'm just bored with it. And I was so looking forward to this series. So it's lost me pirating it. I won't be sailing the seas for that.
What?
I'm not going to be sailing the seas for that.
Right.
Oh, well, talking about that, fucking now that the government have realised that stopping people being able to watch porn by doing the 18, putting your information in, so you would willingly give your passport or your fucking driving licence to prove that you're not less than 18. So then the government know exactly what you're doing. They've realised that people have just went, oh, let's log into my VPN and do that. Now, from what I've seen on the web this morning, I haven't done a full deep dive yet, it's like, we need to fucking control VPNs. Oh. I'm fucking hell, it's unbelievable. And I sent you those clips of Trump ripping into fucking, hilariously ripping in to our queer starmer. Honestly, I think we're in North Korea now. luckily, it's not affecting me like it does some other people. I'm just living my life. But the day it starts to affect me is the day I will rise up like Spartacus.
That's
The female Spartacus.
Yes, I'll grow moobs and wear a bra.
Well, I watched 2 movies.
yeah.
Ooh.
The Happy Gilmore movies
Oh,
with Adam Sandler. Ooh, hee, look at this. Ooh, hee. They were actually not bad.
Is no missus back yet?
The second one was a lot of fun.
Did you watch these by yourselves, or did you force
No,
your good lady to watch them?
myself, Marnie, my kid, his wife.
All right.
It was pretty funny. I was actually surprised at the sequel. That the sequel was funny. Some good stuff in it.
is that
nice.
the one where he throws water on his pants and goes like, "Oh, the big boys go pee pee in your pants"?
No,
Oh, God.
there's lots of cameos in the second one. Rory McIlroy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
you know that American golfer John, I can't remember his name, but he has a big. He looks like Grizzly Adams. He always wears it looks like he's wearing his pajamas on the court on the green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. He lives
Yeah, I
in
know him.
he lives in Happy Gilmore's garage, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it is, and Shooter McGavin's back in it as well, which is pretty funny too. It's a lot of fun. The movie is a lot of fun.
And since you don't care, I think the guy from Devo did the music for that one.
Yeah, and Rob
which is
Schneider's
so generic nobody would notice.
Rob Schneider's in it. You can do it. That yeah, so it's pretty funny. Actually, the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate Adam Sandler. I don't like his early stuff, but the last few things that he's done, I've really enjoyed.
Nice.
Rusty didn't go see Fantastic Four.
Nope, didn't see Superman either. Didn't even see now even though there is a guinea pig in it, and it's very good copies available on the high seas, I still haven't taken the time to see the Thunderbolts yet either.
Yeah, all of that is on YouTube now in high definition.
Yep.
I've watched every single action sequence, so I'm not even going to be bothered when it comes on telly.
Well, that's fair. I don't know. I'm just kind of done with it. So
I'll tell you something to watch. We're talking. Just put it onto YouTube, turn the volume down, and watch The Shaman with their song Coming On. Well, coming without the G. The Shaman Coming On. And I expect to hear your voice go, no, when you're watching it.
So,
or do you know already who is in it?
No. Is it from your channel?
No. It's just YouTube. Just put in The Shaman, which is the group, and the song title, Coming On. Don't read anything, because who knows, it might say who's in the video. But I saw it the other day, and I showed Carol, and she said, that's not him, is it? As soon as he started doing dancing in the background with just a pair of undies on or a pair of shorts or white. No, they were budgie smuggling swimming trunks. She was like, that's not the name. And I went, it bloody well is. That's being kept quiet.
Okay, this is me typing. I'm not going to watch it right now, but
the reaction when you see the person, just go through.
Turn the sound
His
down.
name turns up in the search.
Oh shit! I thought it might.
Coming on HD?
Yeah, coming on. Just play that and just move the cursor till you see somebody dancing in the background in these skimpies and tell me what you think.
Can you hear that? Okay.
No. Yeah, so that just popped into my feed the other day and I watched it and I went, fuck me. Because normally when it's like before they were famous, you get loads of stuff and I've never seen him on that in the Before They Were Famous compilation show.
How old is this music video?
It's probably about 20 years, if not a bit longer.
Apparently somebody's seen a lot of the Groove is in the Heart video.
Oh, yeah, that's quite a good one.
Nana Cherry. You talk about somebody that at least over here, is only known for one thing. We got a hardcover autobiography about Dana Cherry.
Yeah, hers was Buffalo Stance or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 I mean,
She was like Gary Newman, one hit wonder.
Yeah, that's right.
What's this guy's problem?
Can you see him dancing?
Is that Weird Al?
My God.
You think that's Weird Al in the background, naked?
There's a blonde guy dancing around.
Right, there's a blonde guy with just a pair of swim trunks on, or swim.
Yeah, is that?
Can you see him?
Yeah.
That's Jason Statham.
Is it?
Hey, that's the reaction I wanted.
What? Oh, it is. It is.
How much did he get paid for that?
Probably about what I got paid for loading boxes. So that completes the that completes what I've been saying for a while there. They made these expendable movies, and frankly, that whole thing's getting pretty played out. They should make a musical, because some of these guys have musical and or music adjacent abilities. You could make a Expendables type musical. Jason Statham and Jean-Claude Van Damme can dance in it, because Van Damme did his dancing kickboxer. Steven Seagal sings and plays guitar with the Thunderbox.
Yeah.
Who's the fellow from Goonies with the rough complexion? He usually plays like the mafia guy or something like that.
Davy, is that his name?
Yeah. Robert Davi. He's a trained opera singer, apparently. I've not heard him sing. But yeah, and Stallone sang in Rhinestone. So you could definitely put together like a musical badass movie. I think Guy Ritchie would be like the best guy to do that. And maybe even bring in like some young guy who's Mark Wahlberg, he was a rapper, and The Rock also sings as well. So I mean, you practically have like a Expendables, Fast and Furious musical franchise going on right there.
Yeah.
Right? People pay to see that shit. They'll be more excited to see that than K-pop Demon Hunters.
That's it.
Do you guys want to do the Prog?
Yes, but let me go get the iPad.
Yeah, we'll just mention one quick thing before the Prog. The upcoming Dread film by Taiki Waititi. Nothing at all in the news section on the official 2000 AD site. So there's your upcoming Dread film news.
Nothing at San Diego either, probably.
No, there wasn't. Yeah.
All right, well, let's do the Prog.
Let's rock.
Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble, Grub.
Okay, Prog 2442. We were covered by Cliff Robinson and Dylan Teague. What do you think?
Oh, I don't like it. It's too. It's from a distance you can't really see anything. It's just it's all the same colorish scheme, so it doesn't jump out or anything to me. Lovely image, but it doesn't jump out from the shelf.
Yeah, I think it's probably the wrong subject matter to put on the cover. Although the creatures look like Alien. Remember that Alien popping out of your Sigourney Weaver's stomach? Some of the creatures. Yeah. Well, I'll agree with you, John. It doesn't pop. What do you think, Rossi?
I think they should do a Funko Pop. Then it would sell. Oh, I see what you're talking about. The little hello, my honey, hello, my that alien.
I think Chris was told to do the wrong person because there's a nose ring in this person, and when you go to the actual part of the story where the person's changing, there's no nose ring on him. and he has like very short, I don't know what style you'd call this, very short dreadlocky effect, you know, an inch long sort of dreadlock, spiky hair, because it's a black gentleman. That person on this front cover is a bald-headed person, so it does, I don't know if he's got the right character or not. I don't know.
No, I think you're right.
And
He's got the wrong character.
And he's wearing different clothes as well, isn't he? Anyway.
All right, let's go into your favorite Dread. Tunnels Part 4 by Rob Williams, R.M. Guerra, Julia Briscoe, and Simon Boland.
The judges go full left-wing extremism and drag people off the streets because they kind of look guilty and may know something about Sector 42 House. What the fuck? I said that the wrong way around. Sector House 42. Weird. Multiple raids happen across the city. The Wally squad are up their game and the chief goes berserk, just like a leader should. Once Total War make it known publicly that they did the attack. And with an ex-judge. And as the chief is addressing his council, Dredd walks in and says, "Not to worry, chaps, I've got this." Then he's asked directly why he wasn't in the sector house. And Joe replies that he'd stepped outside, and that's that then. The judges go on to discuss how Skowronski did it all, and that he's now with some Dems in Banana City. And so off Joe goes, and now we're up to date. The paddy wagon arrives at Silver's place, which is heavily guarded after he turned snitch, and Dredd walks out, leaving the injured judges to be dealt with by other judges at the pad, and he's off to talk to Silver, not giving a toss about fellow people.
The one thing there's lots to hate, but there's this one thing where Dredd finishes the chief judge's sentence. They feel we are there for the taking, so we have to show them ... we are justice, and he walks away. I mean, that's how bad is that?
I can't tell if he's making fun of these Hollywood, the Joel Silver Hollywood action movies with just, like setting up the badass dialogue line in the most obvious way, and I don't, if he's being like super meta, I'm not getting it, and I'm not liking it. After two, oh shit, this iPad's fucking up. I don't, the bottom line is I like the artwork. I don't care for Rob Williams writing. I don't like him writing Dredd, especially. This installment is, this is when they drags its heel into the ground to slow things down a bit, and because after a bunch of nonsensical action sequences in the first few installments, here we are explaining the plot. So my understanding was they landed Dredd in a spaceport or in some kind of airplane place, and then had to drive Dredd through the city, which caused all that property damage and death to get him from wherever this thing landed. So you couldn't just land the thing just outside the door of the guy that he's meant to go see. You had to land him and then drive through the city and go through all that, right? Did I miss something?
It's terrible.
Okay,
it's terrible.
Yeah, all right.
And you've also got the chief judge acting like fucking insane, like he's never been that sort of thing before. You've also got the Total War, they're wearing masks, but the middle one, who's got some sort of weird eye covering and his fingers are robotic.
Yeah, you should be able to hunt that down.
Exactly. Piece of piss. And the way Dredd just reacts, why weren't you in the sector house? I'd stepped outside. Hang on, you were there to interrogate a fucking undercover judge who'd gone rogue. No even second question. It's just terrible. After last week and all the points picked up about fucking the way Justice Department have not evolved their kit or anything like that, it's just so piss easy to hack into. It's just like I just find it ridiculous.
Well, the Simpson detective makes a guest appearance on 2 panels.
Yeah, that threw me.
That's terrible. Talking about terrible, the Ravilius Pact Part 3, TC Eglinton, Steve Austin, John Charles, and Simon Bolton.
Jason is wrecking the containers, which are heavily guarded, until he gets a message to return to the factory as Todd is going to address the troops. He wants all the other gangs to know that just because his father has died, they're not gone soft. And the message will be sent in a violent way if needs be. The Harbour Gang will be targeted as they want to start their own drug production. Gaz questions this and gets his nose bust for it. Meanwhile, Jason is called into the office where he meets Dick Headley, who wants to become a host as the money is too good to turn down. Jason protests, but Todd has already started the process, and Balal makes himself known and says that he thinks that things are going to get messy. I've got to say, first off, I'm finding it very difficult. I think you said it the other day, Flint, to distinguish characters from each other.
I don't think what helps is that in the penalty Luke page, he shoves that thing into what's his face's mouth, or I don't know what he does, but it looks like it looks like the way you'd draw farts coming out of somebody's backside, right, going into the guy. And then the next page he changes, but they've all changed too into their gear.
Oh God! Yeah.
So it's very confusing, and I think Steve Austin. I used to like his artwork, but I think this is not the best from him.
And it's just the way they're all stood on the final page, holding weapons weirdly. I'm just.
Well, they changed. He's in his like.
Yeah, they're all in black. They're all in sort of body armor. But the thing is, why are they holding weapons like that? I've never seen anyone when I was in the military, at any stage, carry weapons in their hands like that. It's just like, I don't know.
What do you think, Rossi?
I actually like it. I mean, it's not my favorite strip in the world, but as far as like this current, I don't know if you call it like urban horror or, I'm putting it in the same basket as Hope for the Future and the Black Goo story and all that. I think this is one of the better ones of that. I do like Stone Cold Steve Austin's artwork. It's an interesting premise. I'm just kind of like, my whole thing is like it's the 2000 AD keeps like bringing this kind of story up as one of their new stories. It's like, I know that they've gotten away from the sci-fi comic brand a long time ago, but it seems like more horror than sci-fi when they do a new thing. But overall, I like it. I'm good.
Okay. Thargs
I'm glad it's not Skip Tracer.
Thargs Fillers presents Relict, Invasive Species Part 2, Honor Vincent, Lee Milmore, and Letter Simon Boland.
Okay, so I had forgotten parts of the previous installment, so I was wondering what's up with the glowing mouse, who's not explained because they don't do recap captions anymore. Anyway, so there's a smart mouse, and there's another semi-intelligent mouse that can kind of sort of speak, and then there's this like crazy thug mouse that's behind bars who's got bored and chewed off its own arm that can also kind of talk but mostly growls. So they're going to go get the larvae from the flying bugs that have been eating their kind, and the larvae are going to emit a smell that are going to fool the bugs into feeding the mice, and that's how they're going to survive into the future. So they leave the other mice, the three, the smart one, the wild vicious one, and the kind of semi-intelligent one, leave the mouse hole. They have some darts with poison in case the crazy one gets too crazy. And then they go off into the city, which looks like a cross between Planet of the Apes and Battlefield Earth. It's all post-apocalyptic and things falling apart and decaying. they approach the bug's larvae, and for reasons unknown, the crazy one just goes completely berserk and starts tearing apart the larvae, which emits the smell, which brings the bugs. The semi-intelligent mouse tries to blow a dart at the crazy one, just barely grazes its head. Yeah, it kind of more or less misses. The bugs come down on it pretty hard, fights the bugs, then jumps onto the back of one of the bugs and flies away. And it looks like he's
heading to the nest.
Heading to the nest. It's a pretty good cliffhanger for a part 2.
Well, I like it because he's batshit crazy. Like he's the wild card.
Right? So anytime you have a wild mouse that's chewed off its own limb, that's going to be a plus for your story. Remember that, 2000 AD.
I think Lee Milmore's art really suits the drawing these kind of stories.
The furries.
Yeah, the furries. And I think that he should develop his own strip and make it a little bit like, remember Mouse Guard?
Oh, now you don't remember Mouse Guard. You remember Squarriors?
No, I don't.
There
remember.
were Squirrel Warriors.
Oh.
That started off as a Kickstarter, and then I think Dynamite or one of those picked it up for a while.
Yeah, I think he'd be good at doing something like that on his own. But the art, I love the artwork. I like the story. It's going well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, John? I do love the city, the destruction of the city. Although Lee's artwork can look a little bit flat, but that looks really good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like this sort of the characters, and like you say, the art's really nice. And then that the way the city's knackered is quite nicely drawn.
Yeah, with them running in the foreground is really
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the nice backdrop to what they're doing in the foreground with the dead people inside the vehicles, in sort of like the slightly mid-ground. So yeah, really enjoying it. I love the way the attack happened on the final couple of pages. I was on 10 pages up now, and then you got the final bit where he's flying off.
It's like Kingdom of Mice.
I had the reverse feeling of how I start to love the bomb and all that shit, where the cowboy block drops out on the fucking nuke. I had that reverse. That's what I had on that. But I'm loving
Strange Love.
That's it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm enjoying it a lot better now. Okay, Azimuth, Abandoned by God, Part 3, Don Abnett, Tazio Betten, Matt Soff, and the Cosplay Cowboy, Dim Dumbbell.
Okay, so we've got this Mad Max scenario where this really clever character, what was it, Thelma and Luigi, I guess you'd pronounce it.
Do you get that?
Yes. Oh, Thelma. Oh, it's
Thelma
even better
Louise,
still.
the movie.
Thelma, yes, of course, but I mean, Thelma is the Crowley-inspired occult thing. Yeah. And then Luigi, she's got Ouija board tattooed on her chest and her belly, and she's got a neck charm that's like the little thing that they use on the Ouija board to, have the spirits move over to the letters so we can speak to them. But they're all really demons. Anyway, so they're leading the charge to come and fight these furry creatures that Dexter and Judge Anderson, Judge Anderson, are fighting. They rescue them. Well, they think they're being rescued, but actually they're captured along with the furry creatures, and the Thelma's happy that they got Anderson's gun, which apparently isn't booby-trapped as it would be in Mega City 1. Well, okay, to be fair, can you pick up a judge's gun and just not fire it without it going off?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I thought I was clever, but I wasn't. So they march. So meanwhile, the Susie 9mm and all the other white wearers or whatever they call them are on the march at the behest of the Lords of the New Skin or whatever the fuck they're called. They all get a little too clever in some ways. Meanwhile, back at the Thunderdome, Dexter's ready to get into a fight, being watched by Thelema and Luigi.
Megahertz is the guy who's going to lay down the pain.
Yes, Megahertz, who's like a big-ass luchador who's in much better shape than most of the luchadors out there. It's hard to tell whether he's actually just gigantic or drawn that way to, overemphasize the angles. So once again, very entertaining, very clever with the names and what the characters are and what they do. Story just seems to be rambling on, to keep it going, but the art's good and the writing's entertaining.
The artwork is amazing, man.
Yeah, I have less complaints about this doing that than any other story. If any other story was just kind of like going for the sake of going, just to keep the ideas flowing.
Yeah. That penultimate page, the bottom panel, or the view down, looking down on him, that's a bitch to draw.
Oh, the Thunderdome scene?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see him do some more stuff. I'd like to give him his own, not Sinister Dexter, but something different.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting a huge amount of effort into it for a strip.
He draws the ladies really well too. So I'd give him a Tyranny Rex or Durham Red strip.
Yeah, or this sounds crazy for 2000 AD, but come up with something new. So it makes me sad that like he's like the new guy or something. He's like, oh, let's put some real effort into it, then we'll do it. And then Dan Abs is
he's been around for a while. He's done stuff for other independent comic books, but this is he really wants leaps and bounds. He really wants to make good on his 2018. Well, he's doing it.
Effort.
He's doing it.
Yeah. So and even Dan Abnett, like, kind of phoning it in at this point is still better than a lot of other people. So I can't. My only complaint about it is it seems very, they're doing it to keep it going. But if I'm enjoying it while they're keeping it going, I don't see that big of a problem there.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, John?
I enjoyed it. Artwork, as you both said, fantastic. Colours beautiful. The only thing I have is the Faraday cage. Isn't that supposed to be like completely around you? I can't remember, and I didn't bother looking it up. I'm sure it has to be completely around you. But I did get the references there when you mentioned a one man and 2 men into one man lead. So it was basically that. But then again, in the future or wherever else, I'm sure everybody's got something similar. Same as boxing ring, isn't it? Every sport, every culture's got something. But yeah, quite enjoyed it, and he does know how to draw the ladies well. And I thought to myself, oh, you've made that awful for yourself, putting those tattoos on her. So you're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Works.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Okay, last but not least, Scarlet Trace's Empire Blood Part 11, Ian Edgerton Disraeli, and the cosplay cowboy, Tim Dumbbell.
All right, so the three investigators go down to the docks. The Bobby, the tanned gentleman who they set up to fail, and the boiled gentleman who escaped from the ship that was blasted by the Martians. They're checking out the site where they found the body and are investigating the case on their own now. Meanwhile, the Germans are trying to lift the Martian war machine, and the thing that cable snap, thank you, crashes to the ground, which seems to activate it, and it makes a sound that everybody hears from miles around, including the surviving
Saying
Martian.
It wrong, John. Do you have to say it for him?
What did he say?
The ooh sound.
Oh, ooh la.
So they try shooting at it, and then some of the bullets get through the glass, and some of the bullets hit the screens, which makes it shut down. And then the Germans realize that they are in the trouble.
I love what and has to be a Disraeli thing, what he does with the sound effects, because again, in the multi-loop panel, the top panel, the sound effects are behind them, and the second panel, I mean, that's very clever stuff.
Yeah, he's that's like real drawn on the page sound effects too.
Yeah.
And he's walking through one of them at the bottom page on the penultimate page.
And Rusty, because your file is a CBR file, if you flick between the two pages, it's perfect pace. The pace of it, the placement of the ULA is perfect. It doesn't change.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, it's my favourite story. Enjoy the characters. Now we're getting a bit more sort of action, but that lovely, quiet opening on the Docklands in London where they're moving through everything, and then we then see the shit about to happen elsewhere. Well, you're right. The sound effects are just fucking stunning, and like you said, it's behind them, and it's actually moving through the panel. Mm-hmm. So you get the feeling that it's like a sort of like a cartoon, because rather than be static, all those panels where those ULAs are coming through are just brilliant. It just gives that so much movement to it. Yeah. And then obviously the fine bit where he's firing the rounds. I do love all the things. The spang, that's a one, and then the one you normally get, which isn't there, is like spatang and all that. But yeah, love it. And like you said, the sound effects really do add. This is one of those ones where that sort of thing, the lettering, the sound effects, takes it to another level. You know what I mean? If it's done bad, it fucking ruins it all. But this is just like, you were on 10, we'll go to 11 now.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no lazy bastard shortcuts on this one.
Right.
Okay, so what was there were three of the stories in the Prog were pretty good for me. What was your favorite?
Mine has to be Scarlet Traces for everything we just said.
So, did you have a second favorite, John?
Oh, the second favorite, I would go for the what you call it, the animal one.
The mice.
One. I just think it's a really nice, even though it's horrible, it's a nicely done story, and this would have been for me the dark story that would have been in the kids thingy, what that was called. It was so long ago, the 2008 thing.
Oh yeah, the Regine.
Oh. Yeah, this would be the dark story, which was like the sort of 15 rated thing to get them to come up. But yeah, I love it. I love the art. I love the way it's all unfolding. I could see this being used, depending on what the ending is. I can see this having future tales.
Yeah, and that's what they could call it, future TAILS.
I was just saying that then. I didn't just say tales because they have tails.
What's your favorite, Russie?
Oh, I'm going to go with the Future Tales thriller. But I will say for the other two that we, Sinister Dexter and Scarlet Traces, I've said like some of the guys in the contingent, they're just happy to have a Prog to sit in the backyard with a beer and just visit an old friend, and those stories, Scarlet Traces and Azimuth, are exactly that kind of like, don't ask much, just entertain me every week and give me some great artwork. That's those stories. The whole Rob Williams apparently has nothing but disdain for the Judge Dredd and the Reader, but it's offset by wonderful artwork, and the Stone Cold Stephen Austin story, I'm enjoying it. That's another one that I actually do enjoy, but it's it's another 2000AD trying to do a horror story, and it just feels like whenever they have something new, it's going to be horror something.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the thriller as well. But I did enjoy Sinister Dexter and Disraeli's artwork on Scarlet Traces.
Yeah,
and the artwork in the Prog overall is pretty good.
Yeah, and you're right that this could have been and should have been a direction for the Regened. It's something adults can enjoy, but sort of looks like a kid story.
Well, it's like Watership Down.
except
Yeah.
for the animal that chewed its arm off.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
But
that.
that's the kind of shit the dog would do for children back in the day. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like he didn't talk down. It's like animals will chew off a limb, and you get to enjoy that at age 9 years old in your comic book.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything to say before we hit the road?
Remember, folks, free speech is not a right.
Yeah.
Okay. On that
What they
bombshell.
wanted. What they wanted.
Oh, you had harsh words to say about the mayor of London as well today.
Yes, I've enjoyed that one. I did laugh. He's my friend, but he's my friend. I'm sure Hitler's friend as well.
On that bombshell.